Welcome to the garage. I'm Chris. My friends call me the Candyman. And you already know what time it is. Tonight, we're drafting best ball teams. And we've got extra special guest on the show tonight. None other than JT from JT Best Ball and Hartman from Hartman Fantasy Football. Two of your favorites, two of the bros. We're hitting the streets. We're going to be drafting some pit bulls. Who knows what we'll get into? Jump into the chat. Say what's up. Come draft with us. Make sure you hit the like on your way in. If you're watching this in the future, if you're new to the channel, make sure you're subscribed. And also, don't forget to check out Hartman and JT. They both have their own channels. Links in description. Also, while you're at it, follow us on Twitter. I'm at FFB Garage. You can see it right there. You've also got JT's and Hartman's, like I said, in the description. We're going to be ripping some drafts, getting into it. Happy week of the 4th of July. Hope you guys are touching some grass this weekend, but not before we get into some drafts. And let's go ahead and kick it to the intro. But overall, it's like the guy can ball. Like, actions speak louder than words. What up, JT?
What's going on? Hey, I love your intro, man. Whenever the next time that Who Hames is in your chat at the beginning, you have to point out how awesome of a catch that the DeAndre Hopkins, one hand, reaching back. Me and him been going back and forth lately because he says that even in his prime, Hopkins wasn't the dude, that he only got open by using his hands to push off.
Who hater? Who hater, man?
I like messing with him about it because you can't convince me otherwise. In his prime, Hopkins was a dog.
Hopkins was a dog. The problem is you can't really go toe-to-toe with a Chiefs fan when you're a Texans fan because it all goes back to 2019. Was that the year?
Oh, no. 2019, last year, and the Phantom let me run right at a defensive lineman and then drop on my butt, so he has to touch me on my head. Don't get me started.
I know, right?
But yeah, the old school one, that one hurt. I remember being in my living room with my son. He's 18 and doing his own thing these days, but you know, back then he was, I don't know, 15, whatever it was, 14.
Right.
And probably younger than that. But I remember being in my living room and at halftime, we were so excited because, of course, he's like me. He's a little Texan fan at heart, too, and just so pumped. My wife, I remember, wasn't home. I was texting her, yes, we're finally there. We're finally there. And then it all just fell apart. Bill O'Brien, what are you doing to us?
Yeah, I mean, don't I know it? B.O.B. days, the good and the bad, you just kind of roll with it. And as a Texans fan, at the end of the day, you're just looking for a franchise quarterback that isn't gonna get into some legal trouble. And I think we got past that hurdle, made out like bandits against the Browns, got their picks, got Stroud, got Will Anderson. The rest is history.
You know what, man? Looking back on it, you know what should have been our one warning sign? If you follow them as close as I do, I know you're going to remember this. It was a year or so before all of the legal stuff came out, and the media in one particular media session with Watson, they were real on him. We had been losing some games and he hadn't been playing good, and he made one comment and just kind of smirked and was like, they're not going to block my shine, or they're not going to steal my shine, or something like that. Man, come on, dude. You're the quarterback and you acting like you don't even care that we playing like crap. Your head off over there in the hotel room somewhere.
It was so good for a while. It was so promising. I try to black out or, suppress those memories of those Texans years. It's like they were really good, really promising, but it didn't lead to anything. And at least we have the JJ Watt years to look back on pretty fondly. Those were some of my favorites. Even further back, drafting him, and then we had the first playoff game and the second playoff game, and then the second season in the playoffs. Going against the Bengals and both of them and all that. So we had some good runs, but we haven't had a truly great run yet. And I think we're right on the edge. So
we're there. That defense should be elite this year. Went and got us a whole bunch of receivers to work with. What's up, Hartman?
Oh, what's up, guys?
What up, dog?
We're just talking about the Texans' sad history while we wait.
just reminiscing, how it goes. Being sad about a franchise that hasn't really won anything, but some offensive rookie of the year, not bad. Defensive rookie of the year, not bad. But it's all about the future. So
yeah.
So yeah, man. I wanted to ask, how many pit bulls do you guys have left?
I think I got about 4 or 5 left. I've been trying to get them in. I didn't draft any while I was gone last week, but pretty much since I got back, I've been getting them in. And if it starts to get full before I get them all in, I'm just going to jump in the last few as a slow. Like, I think it's one of the best tournaments, to be honest with you. I mean, just bang for your buck, EV. I mean, what is, it's $100 or, I mean, not $100. It's $200 or whatever, to max it. But like men cash, if you make the finals, is $500, I believe, right?
That's right.
And then you got like 1 out of 6, 1 out of 5, like, sign me up for as many of those as they'll give us. And still like K up top, right? 100K up top. So still
that's a nice
really
prize.
Nice payday if you hit.
For 28,000 entrants, that's a pretty nice prize.
Yeah, I love the tournaments like this with the advancements like that. I actually already maxed this one.
Not surprised, you sly dog.
Hartman says that was last week's news.
Hartman's like, hadn't this tournament been out for more than 24 hours? What are you guys doing? Still entering it? Yeah, I've got 3 left to go, so
I think I maxed it yesterday.
Uh-oh. All right. I'll keep us going while he got back. So, I saw he had the theme for tonight, 3 players to never draft in best ball. And we brought some notes. My player, I'm assuming you guys came with one. It's going to surprise some people. But I am a stone cold 0 on the one, the only, Bucky Irvin. Here's my case why. All right. Like, it's crazy to me that, look at the guys that go right in front of him. The running backs that go right in front of him, they're dudes that we expect to be, even little old Achane, we expect him to be the dude. He's going to be running the ball, probably their primary goal line back, probably catching most, if not all, of their passes out of the backfield. Yes, Tampa is a really good offense. Nothing against Tampa. They're a great offense. But every other stream, I just heard Who Hames today when he was on with the guy that made the draft or pass thing or is part of it. I don't know. I don't remember his name. But I just heard Who Hames today make a comment about, well, we know that White is still going to be involved as their main pass catcher. And so it's like, that's part of my argument right there. Like, why are we drafting a guy who is not going to be the main dude, And you can say, okay, Tampa's a good offense. They're going to be winning games. I came correct. We got some notes. Let's just compare a little bit of their schedule from last year to this year. If you really look through the game log, every game that Bucky killed it last year, it was games where they were up a lot. They were just trying to, eat the clock out, run it out. You're talking about a schedule last year that included 2 games against New Orleans, of course, 2 games against Carolina, who happened to have the worst run defense going off of fantasy points given up to running backs, 2 games against Carolina, the second worst points against running backs was the New York Giants. They played them. San Francisco gave up the 3rd most points to running backs. Yep, they played them. Dallas gave up the 10th most. They played them. Those were some of the games where Bucky was just killing it last year. Let's look at just their early season schedule this year. Because, yeah, they still play the New Orleans twice and the Carolina twice. But for a late second-round pick, we want a guy that's, like, killing it all year, right? They got to play the Texans defense this year pretty early in the season, too. They have to play the Jets defense this year. They have to play Philly's defense this year. They have to play Detroit's defense this year. They have to play Buffalo's defense this year. Those right there sound like games to me that, like, it's going to be close. And if anything, it's probably 50-50 because they need White in there on pass downs. Definitely not games that they're just going to probably be, stomping the other team and Bucky just running wild and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. It's like I'm a stone cold 0 on him. If you look, okay, he's a rookie. So I wrote this down too. Like, not even excluding like the first few games of the year, like they hit a 4-game losing stretch. I just pointed out to you all the tough games that they have, especially early on, and they have that last year during a 4-game losing streak. After Bucky kind of already, for what it's worth, took the main job. All right, in 4 games, Bucky averaged 9.5 carries a game for 41 yards and only 2 touchdowns. I don't know. I can't get there on him. I mean, you got Brees Hall and Kyron 14 picks later. You got Cook 20 picks later. I can't get there. I'm a 0. I'm not drafting him. That's my guy.
So I think I caught the end of that. Sorry for the running out there.
That's all right.
Was that a no Bucky Irving take?
That's a 0 Bucky Irving in my bare case. Why?
Interesting. Yeah,
I don't have any
put together.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm also pretty low on Bucky. Like, I don't have 0, but I have like maybe 4% or so. It's just hard to see him taking over a much bigger workload throughout the year. Like that's the biggest thing to me, and I don't know, just a lack of athleticism. Like, obviously he can still break tackles, but I don't know, like I don't know if he just had his best possible outcome kind of last year, and the offense was going so well, like maybe they regress a little, and I don't know. He might be getting a little bit overpriced, especially with lacking the pass catching.
Yeah, I mean, if he was back there, let's say 20 picks later, around where Cook goes, like, sure, I would be in on Bucky there. Give him to me at where does he go, like 40, 42, somewhere like that. Cook normally goes. I'll take Bucky there, but I don't know. I can't click him. You have sometimes, well, not probably anymore, but before the Jonnu stuff, sometimes you could get Achane near the end of the second round every now and then. JT's normally there right around the same spot. I'm clicking JT over him every time.
I've been seeing Achane go in the end of the first round a lot more now lately with the news. So I think the days of round 2 Achane, at least the second half of round 2, are long gone.
I think he's going to kind of hold right there, 15-ish, somewhere in there. I was talking on my stream about it last night. Especially now that they got Waller, like, I think Waller's news and them just getting a tight end is a little bit somewhat intriguing, even though I don't want any part of him, is enough to keep him from jumping those receivers. I don't see him jumping London, BTJ, Nico. So I think he'll kind of stay right there early second round, hopefully, because that's why I want to draft him. Kind of those receivers are my cutoff. Once we get past BTJ and London, and, well, Nico's always into the first normally. But once we get past those 3, pretty much it's Achane for me if he's there.
Yeah, I like that. I saw some responses in the chat about players they're fading. I want to pull some of those up. As we get into this first draft, I try to tip you guys off in the chat. Sorry, I keep popping in and out. Bedtime sometimes in my household runs a little bit late with the kiddos. We're on the clock. ADP would say it's McCaffrey or Neighbors. How are you guys feeling with this first pick?
I would go Neighbors if it's me.
Hartman?
I'm okay with McCaffrey if you guys are real in.
I'm fine with either one. Oh,
Sorry, I need to actually. I think I need to re-download the overlay. But when I have week 15 and 16 both on, it kind of like crams up the view, and then when you click, like the clicks aren't perfectly lined up. So I kind of flubbed that one. We got McCaffrey, which I'm good with.
No worries.
Yeah.
I mean, I like McCaffrey there. I've been
20-second clock, so we're going to have to
clicking him
rip
quite a
through. I mean,
bit.
these pit bulls, they go quick. Not a lot of time for
They
decision
do.
making.
You know, the thing with McCaffrey too is like it's such an intriguing pick even where he's at right there, because like we don't know, right? But if he's healthy, he's a freaking smash right there all day.
Yeah, all day.
But are those legs gonna hold up?
I
Right,
think with
the
him,
injury he had later on in the season was a completely different injury, so it's who knows. Hopefully he's healthy. On this one, we're back on the clock. We've got access to AJ Brown, Ladd, and then Bowers. I'd probably take one of the receivers. How do you guys feel about these two? Hartman,
our receiver.
AJ Brown, or
I would go Ladd if it was me, but I'm okay with Brown if y'all want to do that.
Ladd's fine.
Yeah, I think we're both good with Ladd.
Yeah.
I'm good with Ladd.
Yeah, I flip between those two all the time. Like, those two is a real tough decision.
100%. And, year 2, Ladd McConkey, I think it could be really, really nice. AJ Brown's always a good pick. So as long as he's healthy too, all things considered, I think we got a good mix there. And we've got some nice targets as we move on through this draft. We're ripping along. Thanks for being here tonight, guys, as my guests on the stream. And thanks to all y'all being in the chat and getting in this draft with us. I see Paul's in here in the 11th spot. And then I see a few other familiar names. Let me know what spot you got in the chat if you got in here. And then let me see what I can do here with our layout. I got one more surprise for you guys.
Okay, I like surprises.
Do this.
Hey, speaking of which, if you guys surprises, if you guys aren't doing anything Friday night at my normal time, I got a little fun show idea. There's this good friend of mine. He's been a friend for about 15 years, and he plays in my normal, friends and family, been going for a long time league, but he is your most casual fantasy football guy there is. Only plays in one fantasy league, maybe 2 at the most. I'm bringing him on the channel, though. I talked him into coming on with me. We're going to let a casual fantasy football guy take the wheel of a best ball draft and see what he can do. Should be a pretty fun show.
Yeah, that'll be a cool one for sure.
I'll probably spend, a little time kind of explaining some things to him. But then the idea behind it is once I kind of give him the rundown of how it works, let him take the wheel. Oh, looky there.
Bindles?
Look who's stopping by.
Man?
Good evening, gentlemen.
What's
How
up,
you doing?
Nice to meet you, Hartman and JT. I know we've been chatting and we're in the streets together, but nice to finally be on a stream with you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
And we're on the clock. You never know who's going to stop by. We got 10 seconds to make this pick. We've got McCaffrey and Ladd McConkey. By ADP, it'd be McLaurin or JSN. Do we want to go with Josh Allen? Do we want to get different here? Take Kyron, Hartman's favorite. What do we got, guys?
I'm good with Terry.
Josh Allen.
Oh, Josh
Allen.
Josh Allen. Yeah. Let's do it.
This could be a nice Josh Allen team. Yeah. Let's do it. It seems like, Lamar Jackson got pulled up a little bit. If we get Josh Allen here, we can kind of chart the rest of this out with an elite QB. I think it's actually a nice spot to do it, because if we did get Purdy or Herbert, you'd be like, okay, you're good, in there. But now it takes some pressure off for having to land those stacks. It kind of that range here. I don't pick from the 8 spot all that often. It's kind of a tricky spot with the decision on grabbing the QB or trying to push him around. But this is the exact kind of turn where it's like, Jaden Daniels could go anywhere. And then we saw Lamar go 28. So that's kind of different on its own.
We got some very different, like the check. Go ahead, Hartman. Sorry.
I usually just pull up Brees. That's
Yep.
a good move.
That's what I
I thought about that. I mean, I feel like we're gonna potentially anchor down now with McCaffrey. We've got Josh Allen. We could build this out as like more of a zero running back wide receiver, like stronger on the wide receivers type of build. Do we stack up Cook though, or do we need to pivot back to Worthy or Metcalf or Jameson kind of range?
I think we go receiver here.
I wouldn't mind one
Yeah.
of the spike week guys, Worthy or JMO would probably be the way I would go.
Yeah.
I'm good with Worthy. I think that's gives us.
It's so tough on these 20-second clocks. We're all trying to get the opinions in.
We got Worthy in.
We got to go fast and furious. Interject, say it's Worthy. Full confidence.
Y'all see Brock went over there and on the left side of the board to the one hole?
Yeah, I didn't notice that
Yeah.
until you just said it because I was messing with the camera layout. But
Yeah.
wow, Brock Bowers going to the 212. I've never seen that.
It was actually Dr. B. Harris in the chat. I saw he said something about it, so then I looked, and sure enough,
Insane. So Bindles is fading DK Metcalf. Glad we didn't accidentally click him there. Winning the flex. What up?
that would have been funny.
Mark is fading Tootin. Interesting. I mean, I think, sprinkling some Tootin, but is it a point in the draft where it's like it's not too expensive to get a couple shares? Maybe not a full fade, it sounds like. Let's see what else we got. Dr. B. Harris needs to get a best ball mania in. He's missing out. Mark says D-Hop. Oh, yeah, has the Mamba mentality. We were talking about D-Hop earlier, some nuke, but not fading him. I was fading Hopkins until about a month and a half ago, and I just kind of came around to the idea that he's a fine pick late, especially stacked up.
I've been taking him too, and I've been catching much hell in my chats for it. But I'm like, he said this offseason. I read like a little thing where he was talking about his knee was bothering him all year last year, from early in Tennessee to through the trade. But he tried to play through it in Kansas City or whatever because they needed a receiver out there. And so, like, is there a world where his knee's better this year and he gives you some really nice spike weeks playing with Lamar? Absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty tough unless there's an injury or a trade for him to. I mean, he could have a spike. I mean, he goes pretty late. Was he the 17th round-ish?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not
for sure.
So I guess
I'm not counting on him to hit my lineup every week or something. I mean,
Yeah.
that's all we're looking for from any 17th round receivers.
Okay, you sold me. You sold me.
I think a multi-touchdown game could definitely be possible for him.
Yep. You'd hope so. That's got to be what he's. So ADP wise, it's Ridley if we go receiver. Some guy I've never heard of, and then
I'd be Ridley.
Yeah,
I like Ridley. 1% Rome. You are out, huh?
Well, you can draft him sometimes. If he's still there with our next pick, it's not terrible because we're kind of building out, taking some year 2 guys, and then the week 17
Bring back, yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of in on Rome. He's the only receiver there that isn't catching shit from the coach. So
yeah, I'm really in on Rome. I think he's my favorite Bears receiver to click.
I'm more of a Burden and Loveland guy. I like the late cheaper Bears.
Yeah, I get a lot of Burden too. I have almost the same of him and Rome. They're both like 18% or something.
18%. Wow. Okay.
I kind of would have liked to have either Juwan Jennings or Rome Odunze on this team just for the way it would work out, but they're both gone. Coming back around this next click, it's pick 65. We've started with the 1-1-3 build with Josh Allen, Christian McCaffrey, the lad, McConkey, X, and Calvin Ridley. Trey Henderson is there. Olave, Judy are another option.
I lean Olave. I don't mind Henderson, but I don't know how you guys feel about. We get probably taking receivers at the next turn then, but I'm good.
Olave is good with me.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, either
Olave is good.
Yeah,
him or Judy. I like both of those two about the same. Somebody's got to catch passes in Cleveland.
And also, Judy has the Browns, the week 16 correlation with the Bills, but just one more kind of tiebreaker. I think Olave is still a solid pick there. And let's think, because there's only so many Bills stacking options. I feel like I haven't done a Josh Allen team in a while. What are some of your favorite? Like, we'll go down the line, start with Hartman, go to Bindles, and then JT. How do you guys like to play Josh Allen? Do you try to stack him? Is there a certain stacking target, or you just let it roll and even take him without a stacking partner if you need to?
My preference would be to get Keon Coleman and Josh Palmer.
Okay.
Those are the main two I aim for. I'm okay with Kincaid. I don't usually like Shakir unless I'm like really weak at receiver in general.
That makes sense. Bindles?
Anyone but Khalil Shakir. That should have been my answer. Who do I want zero of? I literally want zero Shakir. Like, I just don't. If it was PPR, like, then okay, maybe. But like half PPR, it's just like he's never gonna give you a meaningful spike week. I don't think, like, more than like what 15 points maybe. Like, I mean, it could happen one time, but I don't want to be betting on it. So
Yeah.
I actually don't mind Kincaid. Like, on a stacked Kincaid.
Sure.
I don't think it's the worst. I don't think it's the worst thing ever.
You know, tight ends sometimes take longer to come on. What about you, JT? Who do you like?
Not Shakir also. I do
too.
take Coleman sometimes, you know, if it makes sense around this ADP or whatever. And then I actually do try to sometimes make a point to get Kincaid because I don't want to take Kincaid when I don't have Allen. And I'm like, well, if Kincaid finally puts it together and it's the dude that they drafted him to be, well, then at least let me take advantage of it on a Josh Allen team. Other than that, I'm also not afraid to just run him unstacked.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, give us some more room to see. I would say I would target Keon Coleman. I'm not afraid to get Kincaid, but I don't draft Kincaid otherwise. So it's like the only time I'll take him. And then I'm not huge on Palmer either. So I'm leaning towards, I take a lot. If I take Josh Allen and I don't take enough, I don't take a ton. It's not a huge priority to get the stack. For me, we're up on the clock. Pick 80's coming up. 114 build. We just took Olave and Ridley. ADP wise, Debo's there. We're getting a 10 pick fall, and just kidding. Laporta, DeAndre Swift, Golden, Diggs, Mooney, Pacheco. Those are kind of our options.
I think we rolled a clip with Golden or Mooney personally, but would any objections there?
I like both of those guys.
Should we go Swift?
I'd be fine with Golden or Swift.
What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Took Golden, so now we've got a solid 5, and I think we also have some nice stacking partners for all of those. Maybe not Olave, the nicest. If we want to take an QB2 later. Yeah, Swift goes. I think Swift could have been a fine pick there, but I'm starting to think the Bears' running attack is going to be pretty consolidated around him.
Well, we also have the game stack for the Ridley Olave. So
nice.
We could do like Cam Ward.
Yeah, Cam Ward would be sick on this build. And I don't get enough Cam Ward anymore. I had 20% Cam Ward in the big board. I don't even know what it's at right now. If I had to look, it's pretty low. My Cam Ward's at 8%. So relatively low, not terrible. And I think I have this filtered to, all tournaments, and I uploaded it earlier today. So we're pretty current on the exposures. Okay, pick 89's coming back around. Flip to the board. We see Swift and Laporta, Mooney. Diggs has been going a bit later. I think Diggs got really steamed up to like the early 7th. Now he goes pretty comfortably at the end of the 7th some of the time. I think I've slowed my clicks on Diggs quite a bit.
See, like I might have taken Diggs over Golden. That would be a debate for me.
Gotcha.
I don't hate it.
I like all three. I like Golden. I like Diggs and Mooney. Wasn't Mooney the other one we were debating about?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Buka goes.
Mix in all three.
I have Ayuk ranked way behind ADP. Obviously, it's a team stack thing, but should we go B-Rob or Mason for running back? How do you guys feel? Hawk just went.
I would lean B-Rob.
I would lean B-Rob too, especially as our second. At least we know we're getting some early season work. Hopefully he has some games he finds the end zone twice or something.
Yeah, I think it's a fine click. It's a good offense. Just want a piece of it. We don't need a whole lot behind this McCaffrey start. So getting another running back in the 8th round feels nice. And we've got our 5 wide receivers figured out. So through our first 8 picks, we started with McCaffrey. we then took Josh Allen, 5 receivers, and Brian Robinson Jr. Let's catch up with the chat, see what else they're fading. Thad doesn't like Hopkins or Lockett. This is hilarious, though. You saw he did this earlier. I've never drafted Rice more than 8% of the time. Incredible.
Rice is another
Franklin.
guy that I can't get there on.
Who's that?
Rice. I'm not big on Rice either where he goes.
He does have to prove he's healthy, but when we've seen him healthy, he's been pretty good.
Well, yeah,
Sure,
with his injury, that's kind of fair.
I'm in on Rice, but I'm somewhat worried about the injury and he's an expensive price, but he's also like a very nice piece. It's just he needs to pay off, as a first round pick or a top of the second round pick to be worth it. And that's kind of like, I think, his ceiling outcome, but it's kind of what we were seeing when he was healthy, at least.
I think it's part of my thing is just like, we keep wanting not San Francisco, KC to be back to the old KC where they're just slinging the ball all around. And yes, they have the receivers to do it. There's reports out there about Kelsey, in the best shape of his life, ready to have a comeback season and all that. And it's just like,
Right.
Are they really going to sling the ball around, or is it going to be the same, deke and dunk, get a lead, run the ball, Chiefs, throw the short passes? I don't know. I just think he could have a hard time paying it off.
So we're coming back up to 104. We almost got a 20-pick slide on Mahomes, and we did have Worthy. So I would have considered it for a second just because it'd be unique to have Mahomes and Allen kind of like in that pairing. But I think the obvious click's going to be Keon if we can get it. Do we have any other choices here to look at?
Keon sounds okay to me.
Keon, Scatabo,
yeah.
He might come back around. People have been slowing their roll on him.
Yeah.
Scadaboo's so
that's
polarizing, which makes it easier to push him.
That's okay. We have the running back that should be going ahead of him later on that we can take anyways.
Who's that? Ahead of who?
Bashal Tootin.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I thought I just missed what we were talking about there.
No,
No
I,
doubt.
I just owned player. Bashal Tootin.
I think BBG is like 20-something percent. Candyman's like 28%. I think mostly, well, it's not mostly.
I think I've been higher, but it's come down. I'm only at 12.5 on all tournaments.
Wow. Okay. I swear the last time we drafted not that long ago, it was higher. Maybe that was looping in some of the other tournaments.
Yeah, on Best Ball Mania, I'm 13, and then all tournaments, I'm like 12.5. So I think it's just come down over the last month.
Okay. Yeah, I'm tripping.
No, but you're not far off.
Yeah, I'm at 28%.
I swear BBG is at 28% too. So maybe that 28% is just stuck in my brain from watching you guys.
That does not surprise me with BBG. I know he's super into Tootin.
Oh, okay. We could either double stack the Chargers with Harrison Ladd, or we get Burden for a nice little bring back with McCaffrey. I think it's probably.
Oh, that's tough. I like both of those a lot. I like Luther more in a vacuum, but I guess if we're gonna do a Chargers thing, maybe. I mean, we're probably taking Herbert anyways. Either way,
Trey Harris.
I think we go Trey here, right?
I think so. I think that's what the real-time assistants would say. So
I was good with either. Burden makes sense with the McCaffrey stuff.
But now we have a really strong case for Herbert if we can get him to come back around, which I'm not super convinced that sometimes he falls a little bit, but if people don't have someone to stack him with, you can get lucky. We have to get him to slide a little bit past ADP. And this team, UCF Jaguar, does not have a quarterback. So that's what's giving me a little bit of concern. And then also you have some other guys ahead of him who could just take him kind of at ADP or around it. So we'll see if we get lucky. We don't have to land Herbert since we took Josh Allen. But it would be nice.
Yeah.
He has a Jordan Love stack too.
That's true. Also, we with these 7 receivers,
also go Love also.
We could, if we land Herbert with this next pick, we're probably just going to call it at receiver and then just hammer on late tight ends and some more running back depth, I would think.
Yeah, we could do Love,
Yeah.
Herbert. We have what's his name? Cam Ward later.
Yeah. So
I mean,
no
I
worries.
think I don't want to say it's a luxury pick to take Herbert or Love there because I think it's fine, but like having Allen, this is like such a weird build where like we're pretty much done at receiver. We only need 2 quarterbacks, and then we need running back and tight end. So I don't know. You guys tell me how you think we should play these pockets here.
I think if it's Herbert, we take him because we have the double stack with our first receiver.
Yeah.
Probably not Love though, because we could just
Push him.
push that to later.
Just wait and get Ward.
Fair.
Yeah,
We could
because
even
we only
take
have him and
Kraft.
Golden.
We could take Kraft and then push Love.
Yeah, where's Jaden Reed at?
Let's look at the board. Jaden Reed went off at pick 77 to UCF Jaguar, who took Jordan Love.
Okay, yeah.
So we're on the clock. Herbert's there. Any case for any of these running backs to go over Herbert?
I say go ahead and take Herbert. We can just be done at QB. At least that's. Yeah. I'm always 2 QB guy if I have Lamar or Allen or Daniels. I don't know about you guys, but I know the fan speak people have kind of got the 3 QB even with elite talk going, but not me.
If we get Cam Ward 25, 30 picks past ADP, throw him in and just sacrifice, an extra 6th running back or something. I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too. That's like a Cam Moore in the staff, stuff like that. That's
if it's stacked and it's past ADP, then I'll do it.
Sure.
But otherwise probably not. Yeah.
I probably wouldn't do it. I probably wouldn't do it for Shuck in the last round though. Even though we have him stacked with the bring back, it's like I don't think Shuck's going to be able to outscore Josh Allen 99.9% of the time.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
And if he does, we deserve to lose anyways.
Yeah. It is sad for me to pass on our one true king, Bashal Tootin, but we had to do it.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I feel like I'm not always in a position to draft him because I take so many quarterbacks in this round where he goes. We're back on the clock. My guy Jaden Blue is there. What other running backs to consider? We could do Kincaid. I think it's probably the best pick, right?
Yeah, go ahead and get the Allen double.
Or would you guys want to take Kraft or Ferg ahead of him? Quick call.
Let's go Kincaid.
I would go Kincaid. Like I said, that's the one time I try to make a point to get him with Allen just because, it's kind of like there is a world where, like, he puts it together this year. He bulked up a little bit in the offseason, he said, or whatever, and maybe he stays healthy. Sometimes not every tight end, just comes out balling their first year or two. Maybe this year he puts it together and, it's the year that we've kind of been waiting on from Kincaid. So what better way to play it than on a Josh Allen team?
Yeah, and I think we pushed tight end purposefully so that we could get some late options, so that we could try to get Kincaid, and that's what ends up happening. Kincaid's our first tight end going off the board in round 12. We've got 2 running backs, 7 receivers, a tight end, 2 QBs, probably done at receiver, almost certainly done at QB. So we're going to be hammering these running backs, whoever can fall back around to us, and just see what happens, see what little week 15, week 16 and 17 correlation we can get, but not really. I don't think we're in a spot where we need anything else for this team to get right. We just want to have some more running back depth. I think we've already built out our biggest bets through 12 rounds, and it's a really strong Herbert double stack with Josh Allen and Christian McCaffrey also double stacked.
Looks good.
I'm liking it.
I am liking it.
Yeah, I think it's coming together really good.
Yeah, I don't find myself taking a lot of elite quarterback, so it just changes the math a little bit. But no, I think we're playing it well so far. Cam Ward goes off the board there, so we're not going to be stacking him 20 picks past ADP.
Oh man,
Jonnu Smith just went. I feel like he should be falling more.
People have been catching the falling Jonnu Smith knife. I'm not going to draft him in front of another week just to see where he ends up. Our options here would be likely Besh.
Well, we're done at receiver.
Running back. Yeah, I kind of think we go running back.
Algier.
that's if we
Algier.
either running back, or I actually like Likely a lot as a second tight end, because when he hits big.
They do have the same bye week.
That's true too. Yeah, the bye week issue. Should we just get Algier, or do you guys like Tank?
I think Algier.
I like Algier better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Algier.
Yeah, I mean, Likely would be okay. But do you think we could stop at 2 tight ends and do like a 2-7-7-2?
There's a lot of potential for that. It depends on which running back option we get to that would pay off more than the third tight end. But I can think of a bunch, like all of these rookie running backs that go in the last round. I'm going to want to sprinkle in those guys. I mean, this team's already strong. If we can hit on one more home run with like a Taj Brooks or Brashard Smith in the last round, I think it'd be worth it.
No, for sure. I was thinking, when I was thinking about the Likely pick, I knew they had the same bye week, but I was kind of thinking of him as that second tight end, and then we could do like a third Jawan Johnson or something, kind of a steady Eddie, just to even it out in the last round. I felt like we're probably okay just stopping at 6 running backs with CMC at the head of it, but if there's a 7 we want to do, I'm okay with that also.
Yeah, let's see how it goes.
So by ADP, Roshan is there. That could be a nice pick for this team. Jalen Wright is fine. Of course, Braylon Allen would be there. And then Dowdle, who I've got probably too much of, so I want to kind of even that out somewhere else a little bit. How do you guys feel about this
tight
pick?
ends are on the board right now?
Yeah, Strange, Gesicki, Freiermuth. So not great. Just take the Roshan.
I think we go
Roshan or Wright.
Yeah. Do we have any correlation?
I'm okay either one.
Yeah.
Roshan for the bring back,
mm-hmm.
but at the same time, it's like, man, I don't know what kind of workload he's going to get.
Yeah, you're really just hoping for the Demont, Jamal Williams, just a bunch of touchdowns. So. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen Roshan handle double-digit touches in a game ever. Like, I'd have to quickly look at what he's done over the last 2 years because I haven't followed him super, super closely. But like, it's hard. I'm scratching my head to think of games where he's had the double-digit touches, right? So here's 10 carries and 10 carries. There's 8 carries and 4 receptions. So he's had that's 3, but he's barely crossing the line. And then in his rookie year, he had 15 touches in week 12. 15 is kind of like my mental cutoff for what I think is like a usable workload for a guy that's not just fully contingent value.
He has been good on the goal line though, and Swift is really bad on the goal line. Like Swift isn't good at converting short yardage, and Roshan's been pretty good at that. Like he has a lot better success rate than Swift does rushing.
Yeah, he's got a little bit more size, kind of a hammer getting it in the goal line, like you're saying, and he's not a bad pass catcher either. So I think it's interesting. It's interesting, and it's not like his price is so expensive either. So I'm willing to get some Roshan mid-sense on this team.
Yeah, he's a good click where he's at. It all, like, if he holds off the Manungai fella and he gets the Demont light roll, then like he's an awesome click right there. I had a week or so where I was into drafting him, but lately I just been passing on him because I like a lot of the guys a little bit later than him better. That's kind of why I was looking at or wanting to look at tight end there at that last pick, but I'm good with it. If he gets the Demont role, then he's a great pick there.
You guys are selling me. I'm back in.
How do you guys feel about Jalen Wright? Like, I feel like he's so like it's weird.
Underwhelmed.
I can see it happening, but I'm also like I can see both paths very easily. But where are you guys?
I have 8% Jalen Wright because I really like the Dolphins uniforms. That's the only reason. He's super underwhelming.
I kind of feel the same way on that. It's like I haven't
got this pick. Would you guys want to go with Braylon Allen a little bit past ADP? Other running backs available would be Chubb, Sanders, Shipley, and make sure to get the Giddens range and Jarquez Hunter. What do
Maybe
you guys
we put a tight end here.
Yeah,
Freiermuth or Zach Ertz?
probably
Ertz.
Yeah.
He might come
Ertz
back
is a
around.
guy that I would feel good just keeping it at 2 tight ends if we decided we wanted to take another running back.
Yeah, maybe we should have gone Ertz there because of like kind of the tier break at tight end.
Well, we could even do like Ertz and then just grab Conklin in the last round.
I don't hate it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Ertz is going to go before our next pick, but let's just keep our fingers crossed. We've got 3 picks left to make, and so far we've got a 2-5-7-1 build. Oh, we got lucky. Let's see. Can we pull it off? Otherwise, if Ertz isn't there, do you still want a tight end, or would you be looking more towards these running backs?
Oh man, I mean these
Giddens is like an auto click for me right here, no matter what. But he's like probably my highest owned player overall. So I love Giddens.
Dude, there's so many. I like these running backs now, like where they're.
We're gonna get
falling
Ertz.
now.
I think that's an easy click, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
He came back around. Luckily, DJM already had 3 tight ends on his squad, so he was not interested in the falling value. We pick up Ertz there, pick 185. That's 11 spots past ADP, and I'm definitely down with Kincaid and Ertz. That seems good enough. I think we've earned ourselves 2 luxury picks to end this draft. So I'm just queuing up some players like I would think of for this team correlation wise. We would definitely consider either Schultz, Conklin for another stacked piece. I think that pretty much covers it on tight end. I think
Juwan Johnson, obligatory shout.
Right. Wide receivers, if we did grab an 8th receiver, are there any names that are worth grabbing late in this kind of build other than just kind of these random guys like Elijah Moore? Is he worth it?
I think our receiver room's so strong that none of these guys
I
realistically
think we're
should hit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think we're batting on the guys we have at this point.
Maybe I saw some bad data, but I thought I saw Elijah Moore played like 900 snaps last year.
He wasn't bad, but
Yeah.
also Tillman was out, and I mean I don't know. I don't think Elijah Moore is actually a bad football player. I just think it's kind of like he's a slot. So
according to what I saw, he was like the top 24 receivers in the entire league for snaps, and I couldn't believe it.
Him and Judy were top 10 in routes run last year.
Yeah, it was insane.
I'd be Jarquez.
Yeah, I like Jarquez, Lloyd, any of these rookies.
Jarquez or Smith. I like him too.
Let's go Jarquez.
I only have 25% Jarquez, so I'd like to get my percentage up a little bit if I can.
Maybe that's
you don't have enough.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of. That you had 28%. I think that's what I was thinking of.
Are you not in on my boy Giddens, Chris? I know you're.
No, I'm in on Giddens.
It was really low. It looked like it was really low.
I think it's just the range where I'm taking tight ends. And I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I have Giddens in the same tier as Hunter. I just have way more Hunter. And I did have a bunch of Giddens in the big board.
My thing with him is like, JT hasn't played a full. I like JT too. I take JT, not on the same teams, obviously, but he always misses games. There's never been a season where Jonathan Taylor did not miss games. So like there's a world where like even if you don't get the ultimate JT's out for the year and you have a league winner in Giddens, you could still get some very, very nice, 3-4 game stretches because JT's out with a bum ankle or something. And I just really like him as a prospect.
Yeah.
No, I think he's a really good pick. It's just, it's weird. Like I feel like for some reason I feel like he doesn't fall that much, whereas Hunter like will fall a little bit more. So I just feel like it just ends up being where
here goes Schultz. Might have saved us from a bad pick there, but it would have been a nice little bring back. On our very last pick, we've got our choice of one of these 3 tight ends or one of these 3 running backs. I think I narrowed it down for us. Any strong takes here? Should we just take the Conklin stack? Hartman.
I'd be tight end. Any of them.
Bindles,
I like Juwan, but that's just me.
JT.
I'm good with you. Joanna Ferguson is who I would go with.
Boom. We took Jawan. We
Jaweezy.
didn't need to overload with Herbert. We already had the double stack and receivers. And we also have Olave with the mini going with Calvin Ridley in week 17. So why not throw in Juwan Johnson? Give us one more piece. And then again, Juwan Johnson has a week 11 bye. Herbert would have had the week 12 bye. So now we have at least 2 tight ends every single week. I think that's also just one more tipping factor. Like we kind of set up in a nice way where, you know, we could have gone Conklin, but Conklin is going to split some work, maybe not much, but some work with Disley. The part I'm more concerned about is late in the season. What if Gadsden starts coming on? And I think of him more as like a receiving pass catching option, and Conklin might be safe with his blocking duties and then getting open against the linebackers with his little shifty head flick move. But at the same time, you know, you can only start so many players. So if Gadsden's getting snaps late in the season, that could come at the expense of someone like Conklin. For Juwan Johnson, there's literally no one that could take snaps from him. So I think it's pretty safe.
Yeah, I almost suggested even like, do we want if y'all really wanted to do a triple stack with Herbert, do Gadsden, because it's like, one, he's very, very low owned. He's apparently the coach's love child or something, the way he was talking about him there right at the end of OTAs. And it's like, I don't know, like I don't like Conklin.
JT, I have a follow-up question. What do you think love child means? Are you insinuating it's the coach's actual son?
No, come on, man. It's a joke. Did you hear that like 4-minute rant that he went on? Did you hear it?
I caught some of it. I did catch a little. I had to go back
It
and
was
see the
like
whole
this
thing.
4-minute rant where he started off just, you know, your normal, oh, for a rookie, he's doing pretty well. But then he just kept like going and go. It was literally like 3.5 minutes long of like Harbaugh just like praising the crap out of this kid.
The problem with like tight ends though is like, yeah, if it's just a rotation, like he could be, they might love him, he might be good. Maybe he comes on at the end of the season, but we were just talking about like Kincaid. Like sometimes it takes a couple of years for tight end. Like I love Gadsden the prospect, but I'm just a little bit worried like for best ball. I mean, we'll see. I think for me it would take like a steady drumbeat in August of like, okay, he's at least like the tight end 2. And then you can kind of just hope for it to come on later in the season. But it's not an anti-Gadsden thing. Like I completely echo what you're saying. Like I think he's a good player and he's probably better than Conklin. But I don't know if it'll play out this particular year.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've clicked him maybe once or twice, and when I did, it was because I had Herbert, I had Ladd, and then I missed out on like Harris or something.
Sure.
Got to the last round and like, sure, why not?
There's been crazier things have happened for sure.
Hartman, your thoughts?
I think Gadsden could be like a good player, but I think Conklin's just good enough to keep his routes low enough that it'll be hard for him to really hit, even if he comes on later. I think Conklin will still, he's not going to get fully taken off the field.
He's just too strong of a veteran. He can block. He's got really good moves against linebackers. He's been there, done that. He's got the trust.
It's fair.
He's savvy.
I've always wondered what Hartman's background looks like behind that draft screen, but we're never gonna know.
You've seen it.
I don't remember. I saw it like his very first stream or second stream. He didn't have the board up, and I remember watching it. I don't remember what the background looked like, but I'm right, Hartman? Like at first when you first started.
Yeah.
I remember watching when
I
the very
delete
first
those.
ones.
If you go back, you'll notice that Hartman started using the board behind him right as we got into our fantasy best or our best ball Jeopardy episode. And I think it's because he loaded all the answers in that draft board behind him so he could just turn around and look it up. ADP, what? Oh, 49 overall.
That was the plan. Didn't work out though.
Yeah, I think where it went wrong is your board is from 2021.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. I think there's a first round QB on it.
Yeah. I was looking at the players. I was like, wow, we were really drafting Tyler Lockett there.
Yeah, it is crazy when you look like 3 years ago at a board. Like, you
Things
ever
move
just go
quickly.
back and
It's cooked.
you just can't believe it. Yeah.
Bro, my one of my best teams that I've had in best ball was a 7th place Poodle team from 2023, and it's insane. I have Deshaun Watson on the team. I have I do have Jordan Love, but I also had Alan Lazard on the Packers on the team. I had Njoku, but then I just a bunch of players on there. Pacheco was on it. Etienne was on it. So like, there's still players who are relevant that were really good then, but some of the players on there are just wild to see.
Yeah.
Well, because it changes year to year. I was just talking in the chat with someone's chat. I don't remember. I'm in so many chats, but I think one of the biggest mistakes that even, as the best ball crowd gets more and more savvy and we're better drafters than we ever been, but like still, I think our biggest mistake as a whole is like wanting to carry over what happened last year, right? Because the NFL is so crazy. And like last year, everybody or too many people was way too zero RB because the year before that, zero RB smashed. So what's happening now this year? Like everybody thinks zero RB is dead, So how I've really been trying to play it myself is through those first 5 and 6 rounds. I just take my very best player with each pick, because what I'm finding is it's naturally really mixing up my builds. I mean, I have plenty of Lamar elite QB builds. I have plenty drafts where I started running back. I have the classic zero RB where I started 4 wide receivers or whatever. And
Right.
so like, this we always want to like, oh, well, last year did this, but it's like we know how crazy the NFL is and how much everything changes. Like, let's try to figure out what's going to happen this year, or at least mix up our builds to be prepared for that, versus just trying to load up on what happened last year.
Those dirty running back drafters got so lucky last year.
Those old fantasy drafters who've been doing this for too long, who like running backs in the first round. It's funny. We took Christian McCaffrey in the first round, but this is technically still a zero RB build where we took 7 wide receivers through our first 10 picks, and then we stopped and we didn't take another receiver. We just hammered the second QB, all of the other running backs, and the tight ends between picks 11 and 18. So by draft capital allocation, this would be a zero RB build.
Mm-hmm. Or, well, I guess that, or they call it the hero or whatever now too.
Yeah, technically you could call it like a hero, but like true to like the zero like thesis, this is pretty zero RB.
I like our team. I think we got enough at all the positions. Wide receiver room strong. If CMC's healthy all year, it's a really good team.
Yeah. Draft like you're right. Like if CMC is healthy, we're drafting CMC in the first round. Like, okay, that's what we're betting on. So,
right, and we're betting on a receiver in the flex probably. So CMC and one other guy out of 6.
Yeah, who would y'all say could be like a flex receiver out of this group that we want to hit?
I think it'd kind of be I was just about to say maybe a ping pong between Olave and Golden. Just
Ocean Wisner's already in the backfield. Play action. You're setting up. What the hell? 2.5 my speed exotic face Kelly. What the hell? Golden makes the catch despite getting hit. Stefan Bauer lässt dich verschwinden. Kann Zaubertricks wie Harry. Was zum Fick? Sie sagen Männer ohne Geld sind ihr ein Ich. Was zum Fick? Bitch, ich weiß überhaupt nicht mal, wer du bist. Was zum Fick? Ich hab Koks dabei, mein Rucksack viel Gewicht. Was zum Fick? Ey!
We're going for one.
Set them up and knock them down.
Candyman, I thought for sure you were gonna rip that one right away when we drafted Golden. I was like, this is your jam right here.
I had to let it simmer.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Burn, throw it on him. I had Andrew from the League FFB last night drafting with me over here, and I threw clips on him twice because we had so many loaded, and I felt so bad every time I did it because I'd be like, "Give me a breakdown of this player," and he'd be like, "Yeah, sure, Drake London."
Best bit.
Like, I'm sorry, man. This is the peak best ball summer, and we just loaded all these PPR Tyler clips. I had to spring them on. I can't let these sit here all day. But yeah, it's a solid team.
The clip is like a top 5 feeling you can feel as a human being. Just putting that out there.
We do have to do something about the audio on some of them. The PPR Tyler Ballsy stream got flagged and banned in certain countries.
I think it's just Russia. I think it's just
Probably, and not that I'm complaining because I don't care either way, but it's funny because I see a little icon. This stream is banned in certain countries. I'm like, that's weird. It must have been one of those songs we loaded up that's completely copyrighted.
Putin doesn't like those songs. He's doesn't want them to be played over there.
Yes. Besides your draft, what other teams did you like? Says Mike. Well, I think there's a team in the 2 spot that looked pretty good. Oh, it's Mike's team. He went with a 3-5-8-2, and he's got Marvin Harrison, Ricky Pearsall stacked up. Ooh, Harrison McBride. That's a fun combo. I think it's more rare than you might expect. And it's not impossible to pull off, but I don't think like a ton of people do it. So it's a fun way to play through Kyler if you're like way in on the Cardinals, or you just think you want a piece of a Kyler outcome that is him unlocked in the passing and the run game. Well, really in the run game, his passings are already pretty much there. It would just be maybe the touchdowns rising, and then Jefferson, Pickens, really solid picks. Some Browns pieces too. I'm not really drafting Harold Fannin since the big board, but if you've got faith, you don't really need much behind Trey McBride. Any other thoughts on this team, Hartman?
I think the running backs are a little bit too thin, and I don't know. And like the on-stack Tyler Shook, I don't really think was needed either. I think the QBs were good enough to stop at 2. And yeah, maybe the RBs needed a little bit more. But it's not a bad team. It's a good team overall with the double-stacked Arizona.
Bindles?
Yeah, I think too many wide receivers. Like I think the receivers you have are like Jefferson, Harrison, Pickens, Pearsall, Downs.
It looks like he was setting up Danny Dimes, but got sniped because I saw Danny Dimes go a little bit early in our draft.
Okay. Yeah, I think I could have done probably 2 less receivers, probably like done with those. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because I mean that's what 5 in the first 100 picks. So,
yeah, in the first 75 picks.
Yeah, so
for sure.
But
JT?
no.
Oh,
yeah, that's not bad.
JT?
I think right there with either the Pearsall or the Downs pick in the 70s, if he turns one of those into a running back that he can get early season production out of, because the main problem I see with the running back room is after Hubbard, it's kind of all backups. Yes, Spears will be involved. He's one of the backups that'll be on the field still, but one of those running backs that go around 70 would have made that team a lot better. And then Spears as your 3rd, Vincent as your 4th. But he has my boy Giddens, so I got to give him an A+.
Blue, you're my boy. And then I think some really fair points. Early season production does still count for a lot to get out of the pods. And this running back room seems like it could struggle with the early season production. So that could put you behind a little bit. And maybe sacrificing Shuck or, like Bindle said, one of these receivers and replacing it, or doing the swap, like JT said, for one of these mid guys for a running back could have helped you out a good amount. Probably that was the move, I think. Swapping for, I don't know, who could have been there, Caleb Johnson or Quinshawn Judkins, but one of those guys might have been nice. But overall, it's a fun way to play Kyler Murray. So I like that. Thanks for drafting with us. What do you guys say we get right back into another Pitbull?
I'm good for whatever.
Hell yeah.
Love some good Pitbull.
Ooh, yeah. Nice advance rates. Of course, the standard 2 out of 12, but then 1.6, very reasonable. 1.5. I mean, that's just like, did you do your homework? Do you have a good team? Can you get the top in a week? 1 out of 5. Can you get a little bit lucky? And then the finals at 156. That's a perfect size to strike and hit for, a top 10, a top 20 outcome. If you get really lucky, 100,000 up top's pretty nice. So I'm going to put it in the chat when I join this one. If y'all are loading it up, I'm going to join it real soon.
Yeah, I love this pit bull tournament. It's probably, you know, I'm new to underdog, so I can't say what was last year, but of what I've seen this year, it's definitely one of my favorites. I was just telling somebody today, you know, who is a little doesn't play quite as much volume, you know, as some of us or whatever, but he plays a lot and stuff. And he was talking about, you know, wanting to try out the weekly winners, but at the same time, he's always, you know, kind of worried about like what kind of money he can make back, what his EV is, you know. And I was trying to talk to him that like, nah, the pit bull, man, like I know it's 10 more bucks, but like to me, I'd rather do I'd rather do 2 pit bulls versus 4 weekly winners any day of the week.
No doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that take. I feel like I've been a pit bull evangelist, telling everyone to do it, get in there, draft these pit bulls before they fill, you know, or the poodle. You know, it doesn't matter which format.
Well, it's gone already.
But the poodle was long gone, right? So I've been telling people to do these pit bulls if they can. And then yeah, Nick, good shout there. I think I curved you guys. We didn't do a 20-second. We actually entered an 8-hour one on this, and we're gonna marathon this. So we're gonna stay on stream until the draft finishes. We'll see you guys in 4 weeks.
Oh no.
Mike, thanks for drafting with us, of course. Pretty solid team. And then Dirty. Yes, fingers crossed that we can get a Christian McCaffrey season. Dude, we're drafting with the underdog. Can you believe it?
Give your best YouTube face.
Where are we at? The 4th spot?
The 4th spot. ADP would tell us to take a running back, but I don't know if I do that this early.
I'm
Lamb, or if we go running back, Bijan.
Yeah, you guys like Bijan or Gibbs? You want to switch it up, or I mean, I'm always
Let's
good
all
with Lamb.
vote. I'm gonna vote
I'd do
CD.
Lamb.
CD. Okay, that's
All right,
Lamb,
we got
man.
3 CD votes.
I was just trying to be the
Just be reasonable.
contrarian, the contrarian, but I love Lamb.
I don't want to have 0 Bijan though, and I fear that's kind of the path I'm headed down. Having like 20% Lamb and a good amount of Jefferson and a good amount of Gibbs. I don't want to be 0. I don't want to be like almost full fading Bijan, and I think I'm like 2.5% Bijan. So I want to get him sometimes, but not today.
So that probably would have been a good spot to take.
Well, only 3 pit bulls left or whatever. So shout out to Steve in the 12 spot. What's up, brother? How you doing? Thanks for being here. Great stuff coming out from Fanspeak this week. A legendary matchup on Jeopardy today. I watched the first half live. I got busy. I had to come back and watch the end. No spoilers. Pause. Pete took down the #1 spot in Best Ball Jeopardy with his performance, and incredible, super fun, really funny stuff. Great show from the Fanspeak Network, so we love it. More to come. And who else we got in here? We got another UCF Jaguar. I feel like I know who UCF Jaguar is. Shout out to you in the chat if you're just watching along. UCF. I swear I know who that is, but I can't think of it. If you're in here and you want to say what up, come say what up. Das Brew Crew, how you doing? And then Bitcoin. I don't know if we've just matched up with Bitcoin, but you guys have seen Bitcoin in these streets. It's a pretty obvious name to recognize. Going to the moon.
Bitcoin and Underdog. We got some big names in here.
Yep. Looking good. See, Brock Bowers at 16, right where he should be going. I can't believe he fell to 24 last time. We just obviously were not in a position to take advantage of him falling.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Let's see what we have on the
ADP
board.
would tell us to take a running back. What do you guys think we do here? Hartman?
JT.
Not Bucky.
Yeah, I know. JT likes JT. Go figure. Bindles, any inputs?
I mean, I'm probably Higgins personally, but if we're tied
Higgins is good.
That's fine. That's fine too.
Let's do it. Let's
Yeah, I'm
do
good
JT.
with Higgins
Yeah,
or
let's switch
Bucky.
it up.
I mean, Higgins or Taylor.
Sometimes
Now, let me ask,
sometimes Higgins comes back around. Not every time. We'll just see what happens. What do you got, JT?
as a new guy here, let me ask y'all, the guy you keep talking about, underdog, who is that? Is he like one of the main underdog people, or just somebody with that name?
Oh no, we have no idea who that is.
Oh, I
The
didn't know,
underdog.
because I know some of them. I know some of them like Hayden and Josh can still draft, I think, or whatever, even though they work.
No.
for them.
So those
Only in
company
like, they have
tournament.
they have like company tournaments.
Oh, okay.
They,
See,
they have blue
I'm the
badges.
new guy to
and they do
Underdog, so I'm
company.
still figuring it all out.
Yeah, they do company only drafts.
That makes sense.
They haven't been in the streets for a while. I think that Hope and Numi were the last ones to be out in these streets back in 2023, and then they started working for Underdog in the drafts games, and they've been
You have to
off,
you have to retire your drafts. It's a tough one.
I figured it was something like that because, it wouldn't be right, of course. Higgins might come back to us. We were debating about him at first.
This guy wants to start 3 running backs. Oh, no.
I'm pretty open to all these picks. Let's start with JT. Who you got here?
Wilson is who I would go with.
Bindles?
I'm good with Wilson.
Wilson.
Yeah, I think we're all on Wilson then. It's not a bad start. I've definitely done some Lamb Wilson teams. I'd venture to say I've done it with JT as well. It's pretty right down the barrel. Nothing crazy with this start. My CD with Wilson is at 19% of my CD teams. So it's not incredibly common, but it's enough. And then the Taylor combo, it's also at 18%. So like I was saying, I think we're just kind of going the straight and narrow path right now, not doing anything too crazy. We'll try to build out around these guys. Of course, the Dak Prescott later, another receiver that comes on in a few picks. It could be really nice. There's another quarterback that plays for a certain green and white team that is a real nice piece to have, whether he's stacked or unstacked. But always, it's more appealing when you have Garrett Wilson. And then Jonathan Taylor's good on any team. I don't think there's a single fantasy football team that, does worse because of Jonathan Taylor when he's healthy. So,
yeah, man. No, this is it's chalk from this spot, but it's good. I feel Garrett Wilson as your wide receiver 2 feels better than Garrett Wilson as your wide receiver 1. So,
it's funny. Go ahead, please.
I've been really coming around to JT, just like how dominant he is when he's healthy.
Down the stretch last year.
Yeah. It just feels like he could dominate if he stays healthy.
He had so many games with over 100 rushing yards. It's like I lost count.
Yeah, no, and it's half PPR and touchdowns matter, and like he is one of the guys where he can literally just get like 30 carries for 180 yards and 3 touchdowns, and it's like
right. He could break
pretty useful on a half PPR site. So,
and Jones also, right? So like, if AR is really done and if Jones is good enough to somewhat keep the job, then that's even better for him. He's going to get a few more dump offs. He's going to get less of the touchdown stolen than if AR was in there.
Yeah, and just the offense just not stalling out after 3 incomplete passes in a row from Anthony Richardson. Probably good.
Back on the clock, ADP would tell us to go with a receiver here. I think we got some good options. I'm going to consider one guy that we might want to pull up a little bit. My ranks would have him there. Otherwise, it's like Hampton, Smith, Jalen Hurts went early. What do you guys think on this one? Strong feelings?
Pickens?
I'm leaning Pickens.
With the Pickens.
I'm good with Pickens, yeah.
We all like Pickens here. Let's go ahead and bring him up and make a strong bet on this Dallas Cowboys offense. I've been trying to get more Hampton too. I was originally not fading Hampton, but I had him like a couple spots behind ADP and I wasn't getting enough. So I've moved him up. I'll take Hampton anywhere in the 4th round as it stands right now.
It seems kind of crazy that Hampton, his ADP is where it is. Like, I feel like it should be higher. Like, I mean, obviously you don't want to just take him ahead, but like it's a 1st round rookie running back with a good O-line and like good quarterback. And
there he is. UCF Jaguar. What up, brother? Dude, I love how the Underdog community is like 90% dog profile picks.
It is.
Including Hartman.
Yeah. I think the issue is like that system doesn't throw to running backs a lot. And Najee's always been healthy, and like even if he's not the best, if he just takes enough carries, maybe
volume,
Hampton pays off, but doesn't really like smash his ADP.
That's fair.
Non-derogatory, that's fair. JT, Lamb, Wilson, Pickens, our first 4 picks. I hope Smith is there. I think he's like a dynamite pick in this range. Of course. Where do we go from here, guys?
I would go Flowers for me, but
I like Flowers fine.
I like
I'm not out on
Flowers.
Hunter. Hartman?
Yeah. Flowers is fine.
Bindles?
Yeah, let's go Flowers.
Yeah. Yeah, I was super in on Flowers when Best Ball Mania kicked off. I got up to like 18, 19%, and I had to move him back down in my ranks a little bit. And then we've seen Hunters continuing to slide. Whether that's right or wrong, I think Hunter's going to settle somewhere around pick 58, 60 to potentially line up with Brian Thomas again after lining up with him around pick 40.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all
And see, I've been out on
I'll be
Hunter
right
all
back.
year, but now if he gets there, that's where I would be more in on him at,
Right.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, what up, Jaguar? Hope you're having a great night, man. Thanks for drafting with us. Thanks for saying what up. And question for everyone in the chat: first off, what are you drafting? And if you're drafting the Pitbull, how many do you have left? JT, I think you said you had a few left.
I'd have to look. I think maybe like 4 or 5, something like that, because I haven't got in as many as I wanted to yet. But
Right.
I'm gonna jump in slows before it fills. I'll definitely end up
Yeah.
maxing it.
I'm just prioritizing not doing slows. I've only got maybe 5 slow drafts going right now, and if I can help it, I don't want any more. I've worked that down over the last month from like I had 14 slow German Shepherds going, and that just about puts me at my limit. I don't like slow drafts, so even getting towards like 20 is too much for me. So I'm ready to stop with those.
I hear you, and I'm hoping the fill rate on the Pitbull slows down, because I'm actually right around 13 or 14 slows going myself from being on vacation and getting in. I wanted to get some more Schnauzers in and some more Poodles and stuff in, but I like to be under 10. I was just telling my friend Mark that earlier today. Like, if I'm under 10, I'm good. If I start to get close to 15, it's sometimes too much of a headache. Feel like I'm always on the dang clock on something.
Steve's drafting the Pitbull, and he's in this room. What up, Al Bug? Sorry he couldn't get in. Must have been on the delay there. That's hilarious. Maybe he's watching like 5 minutes behind and didn't realize he was delayed. Jumps in the Pitbull. He's like, "Where is everyone?" Oh shit, gotta catch up. Steve's got 5. Yeah, I think anywhere between even if you have like 10 left, I think you can still get them in. 2 sides of the coin. One is we're getting into July 4th weekend. Sometimes people take some time off. Things on Underdog can slow down. The other side of it is people have free time. They hammer drafts, and I've been on both sides of that before.
I heard someone saying today that generally they release some kind of fun contest on July 4th.
They've released contests on July 4th for at least the last year, and I think the year before as well, and also during the week. So they kind of lean into the fact that people have free time. Okay, so for ADP, it's going to be someone like Debo, which is also a bring back for us, or Myers, Judkins, Caleb.
I
Let's
kind of
talk
like
it over to Hartman.
Judkins. Sorry, yeah. Go ahead.
Debo or Judkins, either one.
JT?
I like Judkins a lot. Like someone was talking about Hampton. I think Judkins is a guy that should be going a little bit higher than where he is, so I end up clicking him a lot.
I think the receivers coming back too. Like we can maybe even get a Green Bay guy coming back. So I'd rather just take the plunge here on a guy that I think is slightly undervalued. I don't know.
Yeah, and we don't have to force the bring back if we're not super in on Debo. I think Debo's fine, but he does fall sometimes. Judkins is a much higher upside pick and projects for a ton of touches. A really nice pairing to go with JT. So I'm all about it. I can justify taking Quinshon Judkins on pretty much any team.
Yeah, I'm pretty into Judkins too. I have a lot of him. I like him better than Debo in a vacuum. I think it's debatable because we have the Dallas stuff, but I think in a vacuum it's probably Quinshon over Debo.
So let's say Debo's there. Do we take him, or are we going to start to consider Pollard? Well, Debo's gone.
It's Reed or Golden for me.
Either one of those, whichever you like
I-
better. I like them about the same.
I lean Reed, but I know
I lean Reed
Hartman?
also. Reed.
Let's go Reed here. Because I think we do need the receiver in this range just to feel really good about this room and even it out some more. JT, do you want to run through our team to this point?
Yeah, sure. We took Jonathan Taylor to start it off, of course. Then we went Garrett Wilson, Pickens, Flowers. We're trying to get the little double in Dallas, of course. And then we have Judkins. Nice.
Man, I wish we had even more clips, but I realize like the more clips we have, it becomes really hard to find them.
yeah, you
That's
just
real.
get too many.
There's too many.
I really want to
Yeah,
make
I
a
noticed
beat.
that last night too. StreamYard just switched up how they have them on us too. You know, they used to just all kind of be in a line, so you kind of knew how far down each one was.
Yeah, I didn't like that update. That was not.
Fantasy Dog, what's up, brother? Speaking of dogs in the profile pic, how you doing?
Might be the best.
Yeah, we got the boys in the chat. Thanks for being here, y'all. Hope you're having a great Wednesday night. It's Wednesday. My week is ending early. I'm going out to Austin tomorrow to visit the parents, spend some time on the lake for 4th of July. So we'll be grilling, we'll be touching some grass, getting some sun, playing some pickleball, floating a little bit. Looking forward to it. What about
Not a pickleball player?
you're JT, you're in the pickleball?
No, I said not a pickleball player.
Oh, bro. See, you what you do is you pour yourself a nice old fashioned in a styrofoam cup, and then you walk out on the
Hey,
pickleball courts.
old-fashioned now, that's my drink.
You walk out on the pickleball courts about 10 p.m. when the sun goes down under the lights, and you just rally it around. We're back on the clock here. Hawkinson's there. ADP wise, it could be him. I like Higgins a lot. What do you guys think?
I think
Hawkinson or
Tucker
Higgins, I
Warren.
like both.
Want to go Warren? Is that what you said, Hartman?
Hawker Warren.
I like
Okay,
Hawk.
I'm cool with Hawk. I don't love Warren. I get that he has maybe some pass catching upside playing with Aaron Rodgers and like Aaron Rodgers dumping it off.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Aaron Rodgers is more of a dump off quarterback now that he's in his later years and through the injuries, or if he's going to revert back to kind of what he's been doing his whole career, like throwing it downfield more and less dump offs.
Yeah, I mean, he had like a super low ADOT last year.
Right.
I don't
Check
know.
down, I mean.
I just think Warren's price is pretty good when he might get more snaps overall to start, and if he's healthy and he's playing pretty well, he might be able to hold off Caleb like for a while. Especially,
Do we
Caleb's
consider
a late round.
so Dak should be there with our next pick. Warren, we're on the clock. Warren's still there. I think we can get Warren now, and I'm totally cool with that. Any other considerations? Should we take Fields or Dak now?
I kind of like Fields personally.
I was going to say take either Fields or Warren. We can probably
You
get
think
Dak
Hartman?
to come back.
Fields is good.
Oh, fuck. My bad. There was some background noise going on in my house. I couldn't hear what we were talking about.
That's a no-no.
No.
Warren, we said click Warren.
Yeah.
Dang, we set that up so much earlier, and then by the time it came to it,
That's okay.
Yeah, I've
all
just been
good.
really coming
It'll work
around
out.
on him. Like, I don't know. I think Caleb's profile, he could be a big hit, but there's also a good chance like he's a miss, especially with the later draft capital. He played in like a really good system in college that kind of helped him out. Obviously, he gets a similar system in Pittsburgh, but maybe just Warren's pass protection skills and pass catching makes him like a pretty good value there.
I totally agree. I'm actually pretty out on Caleb. You know, when I watch Caleb's film, the one thing that worries me is that system was so good at Iowa that he had, like, talked about it the other night, 5 or 6 yards most plays were before somebody touched him, as good as that offensive line is and everything. Whereas you're not going to have that, you know, in the NFL. He doesn't, to me, have enough initial quickness, in my opinion, to be to probably be a big hit in the NFL. When I watch this film, I see a guy that really needs that room to get up to speed, and I don't think he's going to get that in Pittsburgh.
I just think Fields is. I mean, we chose Fields and it switched, but I think Fields should be going like where Kyler goes. Like, I think they're pretty similar bets, and we have Wilson, so I mean, it's fine. We didn't get him, but not the end of the
Yeah, no, that's who we were trying to get, of course. But
Damn it. Okay, at least worst case scenario, we've gotten out with Love and McCarthy, so it could be worse.
Yeah, no, we're fine.
We should get one of these guys. Okay, let's play this game. If both of them are there with our next pick, do we take Fields or Dak first? I guess we'd go Fields and try to push Dak around the corner.
Yeah, since we have Pickens and Lamb, we definitely take Fields first.
Yeah, we're on the short corner too. Yeah.
I don't know that we're going to get this lucky that all of these drafters are not going to consider Fields. UCF's got 2 quarterbacks, so he's probably out. Doss Brew looks like he's set up for young
Herbert.
Right, or Herbert, right? So then, you called it.
Yeah.
Urinal Pube is quite a name.
Goff. He's set up for
Goff. It'll be this guy here. Oh no, he's
Holy
so there it is.
Bro, so we go Fields, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna risk the Dak double stack on Fields.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would.
Yeah.
I mean,
hey, it's just a pit bull. What's the worst thing that can happen?
I mean, worst case, if somebody takes Dak unstacked, like, you know, you can still benefit from having 2 really good receivers and not having the quarterback, especially if you have quarterback like Fields that can make it up.
And we have Love and McCarthy outs as well, so like it's not
Love went before us.
Oh shoot, okay. So we have McCarthy.
Yeah, Love did go right. That was. Yo, what up, Mike? How you doing, brother? Hope you're having a good Wednesday night. He's a big Hawkinson fan. I've seen him drafting a lot of Hawkinson, a lot of elite tight end. So we get Hawkinson there. Hartman is smart, says Fantasy Dog. Too kind to Hartman. You can say that to his face, but when you're in the chat, you gotta go tougher on him. You gotta give him a little bit more sarcasm than that, Fantasy Dog.
No.
Bindles is smart. All these guys are smart. Okay, well, if all these guys are smart, then low bar. If that includes me, then we're lowering the bar. Everyone's just smart.
That's the bye-week math king right there. Chris the Candyman.
I feel like I need to brush up before I go. I have like a.
Now, see, Chris was the super smart one because he knew how it was going to work out. That's why he made that Warren click for us. He knew we were getting Fields on the back end. Then Dak pushed again.
I was just slow playing it. I knew we'd get Fields 17 picks past ADP and then Dak another 10 picks past ADP. And we grabbed Warren a little bit past ADP. So honestly, we're cooking now because I've done Fields Dak teams. I don't think I've ever, I don't know, maybe some like wasn't Fields going a little bit higher last month than this month?
Right around 100.
Yeah, he's been around the same.
I feel like I do see him falling. So you're right. He's at 100. I just feel like in some rooms I've been seeing Fields fall, and I regret like when I can't take advantage of that. If I'm in a spot where it's like, oh, I've already set the bet for stacking Herbert, kind of like Doss Brew is doing, where he's got his Lad, and he's like, I really need Lad and Herbert, and so then I guess. In that situation, maybe you take Fields and then push Herbert around kind of thing like we did with Dak.
He might be a 2 QB truther, though.
Yeah, and also it's like the Trey Harris drafter over here can always snipe you, so you never know what's going to happen. I
Oh,
set
yeah.
something up a couple nights ago. I think it was this setup. I think it was the Dak with Pickens, and then CD with Pickens, and then someone took Dak like at pick 109 unstacked, and I just like could not believe it. It tilted me so hard. I was like so upset.
Yeah, I had one. I tried pushing Dak to like 117 or so, like right where we are with the double, and someone took him one pick before me, just completely unstacked.
Oh,
Those are the worst.
that's when you search their name on Twitter, their underdog name. You find the one team they posted from 2 years ago, and then you just start DMing them all these like terrible things. I would never do that. Speaking of DMs, follow me on Twitter at FFB Garage. So you know when I'm going live, you can come draft with us, hang out with us, and be a part of the best ball fantasy football community on Twitter, and then just interact, whatever. We talk ball pretty much every day. JT, you were bringing something up. What was the latest controversy about that we were talking about on Twitter the last 2 days? Us in general, like the whole. We'll come back to that thought.
Yeah.
So I would say take blue because we have the Dak and Cowboys stack, and I like blue. Any other players you guys like? Ferguson's there, obviously.
We know you want to hit the book. Go ahead and take him.
I mean, yeah, there's nothing super crazy here that I like. If you want to go blue, you can go blue.
Oh, I'm sorry. The clock ran out, and I couldn't switch it. Looks like we ended up with blue on this one. I'm done defending blue. I'm just gonna let everyone hate so the ADP falls. I'm gonna end up with like 25% before y'all know it.
I'm on your band. I'm on the blue bandwagon also.
It's so cheap for like a league-winning upside pick in this range. I mean, there's the quarterbacks, but it's after most of the quarterbacks are gone, so you're not really even sacrificing anything. And then Ferguson goes, but I think we're playing this through Pickens and CD, so you don't really need Ferguson. It's kind of overkill. We already had the Hawkinson pick, who's even better. Straight up.
I'm super in on blue too.
He's the only guy there with juice, and I was just talking with somebody actually today. They were trying to, they asked me, well,
sorry to cut you off, JT. Do we need a receiver or should we go to running back again?
We could go White or Eckler for a bring back.
I like White.
Maybe we should just do the Eckler then over White.
Or Eckler, either one.
I like White better, but I don't know.
Either one.
I think either one too, and then I take a good amount of both. So I think we could be done at running back. We run out of options for bringbacks, and we're so invested in this Cowboys team. We should have at least, if we can help it. It just would be nice to have a piece of the Commanders, and then healthy Eckler, kind of the same bet. I mean, kind of the same production that Brian Robinson was having on a per game basis, wasn't it? It was pretty close, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he went for a lot of like 800 yards. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
There's one more player we can lean into later if we really want to stack that game up.
Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about. I think that'll be a good option too. What was going on this week? We were just talking about it. There was something on I don't know if we talked about it, but the fact that DraftKings is releasing their data concurrently with the contest. JT, you're the DraftKings expert among us. I mean, I don't want to speak for Bindles and Hartman, but at least compared to me, what's your take on that?
I used to be. I don't know. Since I moved over to Underdog, I honestly haven't drafted anything on DraftKings in probably about since I came over here. I guess almost 2 months now.
You've seen the light. You've seen the light.
No, I tell people all the time, I'm like a kid in a candy store with all these different tournaments and price points and structures and stuff. Like, I wish I would have switched over a few years ago. It was just, when I first started messing around with best ball, I came over from DraftKings DFS, and so I was just comfortable with their site or whatever. But yeah, no, it's way better. Glad I did for sure.
Gotcha. What up, Paul? How you doing, brother?
It's kind of crazy. I know what you're talking about. They released info about the pairings, mid-tournament. I think it's wrong. Like, I don't think they should do that. Like, didn't really seem right in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a big edge. I've been aggregating all the screenshots of people on Twitter who have run data analytics and posted any kind of visuals or just tables with the data. And so I have like the combos, like how many times is Stroud, Nico, and Higgins drafted versus just Stroud and Nico, and those kind of things. There was a bunch of those that I was seeing, and I bookmarked a few, and I can share them on Twitter too. I'm happy to share, but like I know that it's not 100% comparable to Underdog, but at least gives you some insights on where some drafters are taking combinations and where they're not. And I think there's some edge to trying to get some more of those unique combinations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I was shocked they did something like that.
There's no chance I would draft on there until like August.
Gotcha. So Besh is available. I'm just thinking we might want to go receiver. It's been a while. We've got 5 that we like, but quick thoughts. Where'd y'all want to go?
I would go Thielen if we're going to go receiver myself, but
Yeah,
I'm just not a best guy.
The Thielen pick?
I don't mind it.
What pick are we at?
That was 165. So we had about 20 spots on Besh, but at the same time.
Well, he's usually going now, it seems like, in the 160 to 170s.
Yeah.
So maybe, I mean, we might still get him.
We've got Fields, we've got Dak. We're probably good at 2 QB, I would think. Our running backs feel very strong through those first 5 that we have, and we don't have any bye overlap at all. We just picked our 6th receiver after taking a little bit of a break, which I love doing the barbell approach or like bimodal receiver drafting. We're getting close to our luxury picks. I think if we wanted to go tight end here, it could make a lot of sense. Besh is still there. We don't have to take this tight end. Hartman, your thoughts?
I'd probably be Ertz or Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Bindles?
Let's go Ertz.
JT?
That's the guy I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, earlier I caught your signaling. We might go Ertz and then get one more piece of the Commanders. I think that's smart. Hawkinson and Ertz also strong enough to stop at 2 tight ends. Maybe we throw in the third. There's a couple options we have got queued up. I'm going to get rid of those just to clear the board, and then we'll see what comes back around. But I think we've made it to round 16, and we got essentially 3 luxury picks because this team's built out. Like, I think we've made all of our bets. It's just taking players with upside, home run, ability, contingent upside, correlation picks, anything else we can do to stack. But there's not really any other Jets that are really viable, except for one maybe, but we'll see.
Yeah, if he comes back, it could be an option. But I like the team a lot myself.
Candyman.
Yeah, I think it's they're good.
You got a little surprise key in your email if you want to check.
Oh, let me see. I got every tab open at all times. Hit the refresh. I don't think I do, but is it a DM or is it an email? Oh, there it is. Just came through. Oh, that one? Is that? Did we? Oh, we did.
I just cooked it up. I just cooked it up while we were talking. That's why I was.
Bruh. Hilarious. Magician. Yeah, it'll be ready. Perfect.
This is a really sick team, though. I really like how this is played out. Like we got we got Fields falling with Wilson, the double. We got some bring back action. Feel good at receiver. Feel pretty good at running back. Hawk and Ertz, we could stop at 2 if we want to. Like this is getting Fields to fall like that.
Did Demario Douglas just go? I missed it, and I don't take a lot of them, but he would have made sense on this one. Yeah, he went super early. 158.
Was there some like Twitter stuff or something that people were talking about Demario Douglas? Because he's been, I think he was an answer on Jeopardy last week.
He's been moving up quite a bit. He got some good coach speak, and then just like, I think it's like people are kind of thinking more and more he's going to be that starting slot receiver for them.
Right. So for this next pick, we can go anywhere. Probably not quarterback. We don't need anyone there. So running backs and receivers and tight ends. I've got it by ADP. We don't want Freiermuth. Y'all's thoughts on picks here. Giddens is available, right? Keenan Allen's there. Hartman?
We have JT, so
Yeah, no Giddens on this team.
Hartman?
As much as I love him.
Pierce.
Yep.
What do you guys
Bindles?
think?
I'm good with Pierce. Yeah, let's rip it.
JT?
Pierce is good.
Okay. And I did forget that we have JT, but not really. But I was just queuing up, Giddens. But we did, the team stack is what I'm getting at. So for the Colts,
Sure.
Pierce. The thing I'll sell, like when I try to sell people on Pierce, who might not be clicking him, if a wide receiver and your 7th wide receiver is going to hit your lineup, you're going to want a guy who can do it in a play or two, or that he actually does hit your lineup. You don't want a guy who's going to get 40 yards in 4 catches and maybe a touchdown. You want a guy who's going to have a bomb 60-yard touchdown and then maybe another 20 yards on top of that somewhere else, and so he can flex in. We're going to be back on the clock here. Do we need the 3rd tight end, or we just keep pushing it since there's nothing there that would work perfectly?
No, I'd say
We
not a
push
tight
that.
end right there for me.
Maybe running back Samson.
Yeah.
Well, I don't mind cucking Samson with Judkins.
Because we have Judkins. Do we want Samson or should we go Smith?
Or Taj.
I would go Smith probably.
We can go Smith. Yeah, let's go Smith.
Or
Yeah,
Keenan
Smith's fine.
Allen. He would just be a nice cap to a sick receiver room.
So that's fine too.
I froze it. I pulled up Taj. I don't know what made it stick, but the last second I just thought, I kind of think of Taj and Smith and Samson all in this exact same tier. And a Bengals piece just kind of seemed nice. I guess a Kansas piece would be good too. He's been getting some good press. Rashad Smith, speaking of good press that Demario Douglas got. I guess that's what I heard. There's more confidence in Demario Douglas is a key guy for them and will play more snaps than not. So
He's just Khalil Shakir on the Patriots.
yeah, true. That's probably why I didn't click him in the first place. But he could kind of continue to break out. I guess there's still time. He's cheap enough. Shakir is just so expensive.
I feel like Alec Pierce is like the polar opposite of a player and pick rather than Pop Douglas. Like it's like
True.
only deep bombs versus slot.
Justbombs.com.
Yeah, but no, I'm definitely that way too. Like take the guy that when he hits, he's going to hit with a nice little spike.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I'm only really taking Douglas on Drake May teams.
True. I thought of it for the bring back, but even then it's not really enough to make me reach ahead on him. Bendels, you want to run through this team before our next pick?
Sure. We got Justin Fields stacked up with Garrett Wilson, Dak Prescott stacked up with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. At running back, JT, Quinshon Judkins, Jalen Warren, Jadon Blue, Austin Eckler, Taj Brooks, the aforementioned CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, George Pickens, Zay Flowers, Jaden Reed,
Mini.
Adam Thielen. Yeah, there you go. Adam Thielen, Alec Pierce, and then at tight end, exciting whites, TJ Hawkinson and Zach Ertz.
So is this a squad where we take, considering the running backs are pretty good with 6, the receivers are pretty good with 7, do we tack on another tight end, or do we take, where's this luxury pick going, guys? Hartman?
Tight end or receiver.
Who do you have in mind for tight end?
I mean, is Darren Waller still available?
He probably went.
I think let me check the ranks. He just went. Schultz is there.
Schultz
Conklin.
is fine.
Ferguson's there. JT, what's your thoughts on this pick?
Maybe Schultz. He normally goes earlier than that, so
No interest in any of
I
these
don't know.
last wide receivers or running backs?
not really for me. I try to be done with wide receiver before this point.
Bindles, any last?
Probably
Call.
Schultz if he falls. Otherwise, Ferguson. I think
we're all in.
Yeah, let's go. Schultz.
Boom. Speaking of, exciting whites, we get Dalton Schultz to cap it off. Nice little fall on him, though. And, he's had better years than last year. So maybe it's just we're discounting him too much.
I mean, I think Houston's due for a little bit of a bounce back this year.
Right.
Fantasy wise, Stroud. There's that Peyton Manning clip talking about how Peyton Manning didn't win his first first playoff game until year 6, and Stroud won one this year. So I don't know.
He won one last year too,
and won one last year too. So yeah, I mean, I think they have a good coaching staff. They brought in 2 exciting receivers from Iowa State to pair with Nico, and Nico was hurt last year. It was just a weird season for them. So I like Schultz as just a good offense. He catches 8 touchdowns or something like that. I think it's a pretty good cost for that.
Yeah.
And he generally will work down the field too,
Yeah.
going back to the when he hits, it might be for a 3 for 60 and a touchdown type game or something like that,
He was the OG Jake Ferguson.
I think they're going to throw a lot more myself this year. Like Stroud was saying some stuff a few weeks ago during OTA about, which is probably why Slowick got fired. Apparently Slowick didn't let him change the plays at all. He was one of those okay, you can check from a run left to a run right, but that's it, and the new guy, Kaylee, has already been talking about putting blind trust in CJ, and apparently he's going to have a lot more freedom at the line of scrimmage. I always talk about what are the teams telling us? Well, they went out and they brought in Kirk, and then they drafted their first 2 picks at wide receiver. Kind of seems like a team that wants to get away from playing slow and running and let CJ kind of throw it around a lot more.
Yeah, they brought in a coordinator from the Rams who was a Rams assistant. So I mean that kind of signal. I mean, the Rams will still they're balanced, but they're more on the pass heavy side. So yeah.
No doubt. Let's see. I just realized I fell so far behind with the chat. As we were wrapping that up, we were super locked in on our last picks. Let's see what's going on with the group chat, and then we'll jump back and review this team, and then we'll take it from there. Yo, what up, Tyler? How you doing, brother? Happy 4th of July week. Hope you're doing well. Ripping drafts as always. Actually had BBG on his stream earlier today on the Fantasy Sanctuary. I caught a second of that. I was tuning in, lurking for a little bit. That seemed like it was a fun time.
Impromptu, yeah.
Studlier. Oh, Fantasy Dog. Too kind. Too kind. Loves the Thielen pick. Sober Thoughts. Yo, what up? How you doing, Sober? Thanks for jumping in here. Hope you're doing well on this Wednesday night. In Dynasty, would y'all trade Cook? So James Cook and a 2027 first for Montgomery and Tyler Warren? I would say no. Bindles?
No chance.
Yeah, not even close. JT?
No, I don't do much Dynasty, but I know Bindles is the Dynasty guy, so I'm going to have to.
You don't have to reveal what's behind the curtain. He'd be a Dynasty pro. Hartman.
That's Bindles.
No, not unless it's tight end premium, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even then, I think the future first is you just don't want to sell your future, right, Bindles?
Yeah, I would say Warren and 2027 first are probably near equal. It's probably slightly into Warren, and then it's basically Cook for Monty. So I mean, even if you don't like Cook, it's just value wise, it's a pretty big swing for the Cook side. So
great question and sober thoughts. This brings up a great opportunity. Join Bindle's Discord. He's about to throw it into the chat. I'm supposed to add it to the description, but I forget. Also, whatever. But Bindle's Discord, jump in there. A lot of dynasty talk, fantasy football talk in general, fitness talk, just a lot of good stuff. It's a growing Discord community, and yeah, perfect place for these kind of questions. You can also get access to his free ranks and his value sheet, which I use. That's how I make pretty much all my dynasty trades currently, and I've got some resources. We've all got different things, but it's nice to have people to kind of bounce questions off of. And if you're in the Discords, I'm sure you're in some of those channels already, but go ahead and check out Bindles and join us there. Make sure you're subscribed here. Make sure you hit the like on the stream. You can follow me on Twitter at FFB Garage. Follow Hartman at Hartman Fantasy. Hartman_FF. Bindles at Bindles90. And then at JT Best Ball. And make sure you're subscribed to Hartman's channel, link in the description, Bindle's channel, link in the description, JT's YouTube channel, link in the description. On to the next one. That was a mouthful, but that was a perfect time to promo that stuff. And yeah, we love getting questions on here. Always good to get the brain, kind of the gears turning in the brain and like, thinking about these challenging dynasty questions. Bindles, we're kind of in like a lull. I was talking with Andrew from the League FFB last night when he was on. Dynasty is about to start ramping up again. It's probably about 2 weeks out before Dynasty really gets going again and the redraft starts kicking up too.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, I feel like June for everything except for best ball sickos like us is pretty dead. I think we were talking about, on our stream with Neil that like, I think every year it's a little bit earlier where the redraft stuff kind of starts coming in. So we'll get some more activity, but yeah, this is a pretty dead period. I would say now until probably after 4th of July is done. And then after that, people will, start kicking the tires. Honestly, after the NFL draft and like rookie drafts are over, it's pretty dead for a few months for a large majority of the dynasty population. So,
no doubt. Chris says, if you're taking Pop Douglas on underdog, bless your heart. That reminds me, my dog got a haircut today. Y'all want to see? She just came back over here looking super cute. Let me see if I can get her on the. There she is. Can you see that? No bad angle. The cord
barely can't make it out, but barely.
The Candyman is covering it barely.
It really?
No. We got a glimpse. We got a glimpse.
There, that's her butt. You can see her little dog butt. Super cute. She got a haircut. My 2-year-old is obsessed. She goes, she's shorter.
That's funny. Normally my dogs hang out in here in the office with me too at night, but they're not tonight.
Yeah, usually when I'm streaming, my dog's either right over there, across the room, or like right here beneath me. And I'm always like, I wonder if the mic picks up the background noise because she snores and like she makes like breathing noises and she's always like kicking and scratching and stuff. But I don't think I've ever heard her on stream.
I've never noticed it once. So
she's always here.
That's funny.
Yeah, she's like my little shadow. Okay, what else we get into? Oh, answer to your poll for Paul. And yeah, Paul, thanks for drafting with us in the last one. Or the previous one, because now we've done 2. 50 BBMs. He's full faded Saquon, McCaffrey, Rice, Hill, Travis Hunter, Waddle, Rome, Juwan Johnson, Harvey, Addison, Debo, Jacoby, Diggs, Pacheco, Downs, Ayuk, Egbuka, Kupp, Mason, Kelsey, Etienne. Paul, I think you just named every player on the draft board. I don't know who you're drafting then. No, I'm just joking, but that's a pretty extensive list of full fades. That's intense.
Yeah, that's wild.
That was a lot.
This Robonus says this Hartman guy is always high.
I got a question for you guys, and I brought this up with somebody a few weeks ago, and it's something that just keeps getting me thinking. The Jaguars, 2 receivers, and then throw Strange in there at tight end. What is wrong? And this is what I mean by that, right? Like Trevor Lawrence, let me flip over. He goes literally, I think, after Cam Ward generally, right? Yeah, like, well, no. I'm sorry. I was looking at something else.
Like right after,
but he goes after, where's my rankings at? Let me see.
Who went after Dak Prescott in this one? But he does around 130.
He goes after McCarthy, and he goes, right there, like slightly before CJ. But, Herbert, we think the Chargers are going to be, this heavy run team. Yes, he's going to be hitting Ladd. A lot of people are out on Detroit this year. But what I keep thinking with the Jags is maybe it's a little better right now because, like we also just talked about, Hunter is starting to fall. But when Hunter was that full, going a little bit ahead of where he is now, let's say like 2 weeks ago is when I really thought this up, 2 or 3 weeks ago. You have BTJ going at the end of round 1, essentially, early round 2. followed really closely by just like a round and a half or so later, Hunter. He's starting to move back now. We talked about that. But again, this was 3 weeks ago when I brought it up on to someone. But then of that big group of quarterbacks, say, Kyler on back, Herbert, I'm not Herbert. T-Law is kind of near the end, of the guys you want to draft. And it's like, I feel like one of the two is wrong. I feel like either Trevor Lawrence is like completely undervalued. If Hunter pays off his price tag and BTJ pays off his price tag, Trevor Lawrence is being really undervalued, in my opinion. Or on the flip side, which of the receivers do y'all think isn't paying off? Is BTJ going to not be a 1-2 turn guy? Is Hunter going to be the one that doesn't pay it off? It's like, I don't know. Trevor Lawrence can't be just even value where he goes, and both of those two receivers pay off, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Partially, I think, you see Jared Goff going in a similar range. Yes, he fell in this one. Typically, what was that?
I don't know. It's not on my end.
Typically, you see Jared Goff go before Trevor Lawrence, but I don't know. I think all the QBs, there's so many QBs that could be a top 12 QB in this range. So it's kind of like the wealth of options starts to devalue some of these guys. We just haven't seen Trevor Lawrence really live up to it yet. Where you've seen like Goff, he's gotten it done before. Dak's gotten it done before. Herbert, of course, and then I would say Caleb is probably the other one to me that Caleb and Lawrence are like the two guys. What's the huge difference? Like they could be a similar price. Maybe Caleb has more rushing upside, and that's kind of the case for him. Also has a nice environment of weapons around him. JJ, of course, good environment, rushing upside. So I think it's the lack of rushing upside for Trevor Lawrence and then he's not going to go ahead of pocket passers like Goff or Dak most of the time. So it's like Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud, even Tua, they go pretty cheap because they can't hit the same rushing upside.
I think Trevor Lawrence is kind of like a polarizing player in a way where like I could see how he easily beats ADP and he's like undervalued, but I think he's gotten to the point where it's hard for me to really believe in him when he like hasn't totally shown it after so many years in the league. I don't know. It feels a little tough to see it with T-Law. Like he would really have to take a big leap for those guys to both pay off.
So then who do you think it is? Because like me, I have been out on Hunter pretty much all year. I love BTJ where he's at. I think he'll pay that price tag off. I think I talked about it when we had mentioned how Hunter's kind of moving back and he might pair up the same but a full round later. And I had said something about that's when I would be interested in him. But like, I don't know. It was just something I was thinking about, and I forget who I was asking. I think maybe it was Cody from Off the Schneid when he was on my channel. I was talking with him about it. I was just curious what y'all thought.
Yeah, I think it's also kind of like it's tied to that right side of the board because because of both. Well, it was Hunter going in the fourth round before, and then now he's going to be coming back around on the other side, and BTJ, and I think Hunter. You were asking kind of like which one is it? Is it like are one of those guys underpriced, or is it Lawrence? I think Hunter. It's like a weird thing where like it's that question that people ask, like the hypothetical of like if this guy only gave you whatever, like 2 big games in the playoffs, where would you draft him? Like I don't necessarily think Hunter is like a season-long play. It's more of like the end of the season, rookie receivers are kind of a cheat code, and so you're kind of just buying into that. So it's like a weird like dynamic of like balancing the just like total points for the season versus if you do believe in Hunter, it's just kind of like, okay, well, by the time it's week 14 through 17, he's just going to be that guy. And so, yeah, I would say it's probably Hunter, who has been overpriced, and he's going to continue to fall. And then probably, like you said, the kind of that 5-6 turn. I think that's like an efficient ADP based on kind of that equation. I mean, I'm personally higher on Hunter, but I think like the average, the normal person isn't as high. And then everything that Candyman just echoed in terms of T-Law, like we haven't seen it, so people aren't going to like just push him up. I don't think he's that much of a different bet than like a Caleb. Personally, Caleb will run a little bit more, but T-Law is not a 0 in the run game, and you're kind of just betting on Liam Cohen, like just like elevating it. T-Law doesn't have to be amazing; he just has to be not average, but like slightly above average. And with those receivers, so yeah, it's a weird one.
Duval.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's just because like two guys that I think almost should swap is like I feel like personally, and they're guys I don't take a ton of that like Love and Herbert, for instance. Like I kind of think they should be the guys going more in what is that round 11. Whereas like if these receivers are really gonna pay off, then like Trevor Lawrence and maybe even Goff should be up, in around 10. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. So much of it is tied to where the receivers go. Like that's like the thing about
exactly.
It's so weird. Like a guy will be like around later, around earlier just because of where the ADPs line up. And it's like if we weren't worried about stacking, then it would completely like change what we thought. Like, okay, this player is just better than this player.
True. Funny comment was Das Brew. We gave him a little shout out when we started the draft, but he didn't even know we were live, which means Das Brew, hit that notification bell. Make sure you don't miss out. Know when we're going live. But no, thanks for being here. Appreciate you hopping in and saying hi. Yeah, didn't know you guys were live. See, I'm drafting against 4 dudes. Yep, you just got wrecked by 4 dudes. How does it feel? We took you down in this draft. I mean, you're not going to be able to beat this team. We got
I liked it a lot.
Double stacked, triple stacked. Speaking of a lot, so JT, do you want to run through this team? Just like a quick 20-second version?
Sure. We got the Fields and Dak holding it down at quarterback. We got JT, Judkins, Warren, Blue, Eckler, and Brooks in the running back room. We got Lamb and Pickens for the double with Wilson paired with Fields, Flowers, Reed, Thielen, and Pierce.
Wait, who was that? Who was the one in the middle there? I forgot. We had the mini going on with. Who was it?
Which one you talking about?
For the receivers?
Flowers and Reed.
Nice.
I can't believe anyone's out on Jaden Reed. I'm just going to be completely honest. Just don't.
Bindles is so in on Jaden Reed. He made the clip a minute long.
Yeah, no. You probably can cut one of those out, but it's just like, bro, they're all so sick.
When I originally did my Scattaboo clip, it was a minute long, and then it would take so long to go through. I was like, how do I cut down Scattaboo? There's too many good highlights, and I finally got it down to like 30 seconds, but that was fire.
Okay. I'll send you an edit.
Oh no request here. I'm just saying. That's
I can't lie. I take Reed normally over Golden. I mean, like I like Golden too, but it's like Reed's been there and been good, and like I don't know.
I don't think that's a bad take. They go so similar. It's unless you double tap, or unless somebody else chooses for you, that you kind of like have the option to take either or. And I think in a 1 week scenario, like a week 17, it could be either or. Obviously, we're also playing to get there. So if Reed has a really, really good season, then he can kind of carry your team, and he's going really cheap. I think probably it's tough. I go back and forth. I still have Golden. I have them pretty much back to back, but I'll take them both, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Real quick,
Reed
there's
over
some
Golden.
interesting. Oh, go ahead, Hartman.
I was just saying I'm also Reed over Golden.
There's an interesting things at the end of the chat going on, and curious what you guys think. And it was, I think Fantasy Dog had originally asked the question, is there a world where Hunter is the number one over BTJ? And I don't see it this year simply because of his lack of routes. I mean, he's still got to learn so much. He's got to learn defense. He's got to learn an NFL playbook. In college, he had a very, very throw Hunter the ball was his route tree, essentially, But then I see Steve says, he gives it at least like a 20% chance that there could be a scenario in that. So I didn't see it that way and was curious what you guys thought.
I think Brian Thomas showed us so much. Like he's a real deal. So I really like Travis Hunter. They took him, the 4th pick overall for a reason, traded up for him. He's got great hands, spectacular catch. He's a one-of-one player, generational talent, plays both sides of the ball. I think that's kind of what he brings to the table for the Jaguars, and that Brian Thomas is the alpha receiver until further notice.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Hunter could maybe pass him eventually, but not this year. Unless like he gets injured or something, obviously.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it really just depends on how good you think Travis Hunter is. Like if you, I mean, I don't know. Like I know like some people like Jacob Sanderson. I don't know. There's a few others that are just like, this guy could be a OBJ type receiver. I mean, obviously it's just hard with the routes where it's like, how is that really going to come together? I would say Steve's about right. Like, I think it's 15%, 20%. Like it could happen. It's really, it is kind of a binary bet. It's like if Travis Hunter is just that good, then I do think he could be the quote number one over him, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Not likely.
I just think as he has so much on his plate, being as raw as he is, just from a route standpoint. And then, like, okay, even if he plays most of the important wide receiver snaps and they only have him in there, let's say even bare minimum, he just plays third down on defense, locking up a receiver man on man. There's still just so much, mentally for a kid. I don't know. I don't see it myself this year. If I would give it more of a 20% chance if he was just like that, the same dude, but just a rookie receiver where he didn't have all that extra on his plate, all the hype, all the media, learning two sides of the ball in the NFL. If he was like just a receiver,
sure,
then I would say, yeah, there's a world where that could maybe happen.
Yeah. I think the thing that complicates it even more is like Liam Cohen. We saw like he's so good at scheming. I think it was like whatever screens, just kind of like these weird like design plays where he's scheming up. Like Jalen McMillan had like 7 touchdowns last year, and like they were mostly just like Liam Cohen scheming it up. So it's like I think that aspect of it makes it slightly more likely, just because like it's not as much of a load on your plate of like, okay, I'm just running regular wide receiver routes and like learning a full offensive playbook. It's kind of just like very specific packages, very specific stuff. And we've seen Cohen do something like that before. So, I mean, yeah, if he just gets like screens and a couple like red zone plays, another thing, like I think the bar is a little bit lower than like most cases we would imagine in that scenario because of Cohen, but it doesn't raise it by a ton. It's just like a very slight edge of like, okay, if this was this unicorn type situation, like we would want Liam Cohen to be the coach where this situation is happening. So
yeah. A lot of the Jaguars, very interesting. Also the question everyone is interested to know about the Jags is who's that running back and who's that going to be. A lot of strong teams in this one. I was just flipping through some of y'all's teams, UCF, Doss, Bruce, Steve's team. Some really strong teams, so we've got our work cut out for us, but I think we have a good one here. What do you say we jump into another draft? How you guys doing timing-wise, my friends?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I got to hop. I got to go into the office tomorrow, but you guys enjoy. Have a great night. I just updated my Dynasty rankings, so go check out the Discord link, and that will be in there. I'll also tweet it out tomorrow. And then Ballsy show next week. We had PPR Tyler on Monday on Candyman's channel. Next week, it's on my channel. We have the one, the only Sacrilegious coming on. So you guys are not going to want to miss that one. Going to be a banger. And yeah, have a great night, everyone.
That intro is the sickest in the business, by the way. I love it. Got the Arnold in the background. It's y'all did it right, man. I love that intro to Ballsy.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate
you.
Bindles, thanks for stopping by. Always good to draft with you, to talk with you, man. Have a great rest of your night. Have a great day tomorrow. And happy one day past Canada Day. But I know you're a red-blooded American, so let's celebrate the 4th like we were born to do. And have a great one. I'll talk to you later, man.
Thanks for having me. I'm going to go eat some hot dogs to make sure I'm still American. See ya.
Perfect. For a good end of the night. Let's do a little resizing. We're going to jump back into a pit bull. It's my last one. Might as well fire off on a pit bull. Might as well, right? Just max the thing out.
You said you're about to go out of town anyways, huh?
Yeah, not too far. You know how it is. I go to Austin about once a month or even more sometimes. My parents live out there. And then my wife's family, they're out there as well. So we make a lot of excuses to get out there. A bunch of friends out there. You're out there, by the way. So I'll be in your neck of the woods.
I'm right down there in kind of that by 290 and 1 right there, kind of southwest area. For sure. Yeah, we're gonna be driving out tomorrow, hopefully beating some traffic. So we're starting our 4th weekend just a little early. It's gonna feel good. Okay, I'm going to enter it in the chat, guys. When you see it in the chat, that's what I'm entering the pit bull. And I'm about to do it here on stream. So if you want to jump in, I've got one left, and I'm hitting enter now. And boom, it snap fills. That's just typically how it goes. The way it goes sometimes. I see Disbanded knows about the Austin area, mentioned in the Ben White Boulevard.
Oh, yeah. Get that goes. Yeah. Disbanded's been out there. If I remember correctly, Disbanded's out in Colorado now, but he is from Austin. What's I going to say?
I think I do remember him telling me that before.
Yeah. Yep. Later, Bindles. And then waiting for one. Are you already in, Michael? Let's see if you got in. Mike, I think he got in. He's in the 7th spot.
We're in the 9.
Yes, we are in the 9. It looks like Steve got in the 4. And then we got Mike in the 7. Michael in the 7. Yes, sir. Burning Austin. Love it. Yeah, I was born in Austin in another life. My parents were living in Austin, and then they moved to Houston, and then shortly after that I was born. But they're back in Austin, and of course I went there for school, lived there for a few years, met my wife there, and then we moved to Houston, and that's where we've been ever since. But I feel like we're in betweeners. We're constantly driving up and down 290. So
yeah, what part of Houston you live in?
I'm in like the Meyerland area, so I'm just south of Bel Air, and it's a good spot for us. I work in the Galleria area, and my wife works in the medical center, and so we kind of triangulated that, and so we're down here in Southwest Houston, pretty tucked in, and we're close. Like I can look out the window and see skyscrapers and stuff, and not really, but like because we're kind of insulated in the little neighborhood that we're in. But practically, I mean, I'm like a stone's throw away from the Loop and all these skyscrapers and stuff. So, you know, I felt like it was a good mix for me. We're in like a neighborhood where like kids are playing in the street and walking around, and it's like safe, but then we're still really close to the action. On the clock here, it's got to be Puka, right?
Puka, that's who
Yeah.
it would be for me.
I think so.
Puka.
Well, that's nice too. You come to Austin so much being on the southwest corner. At least you're on that west side and you don't have to like cross town every time you come out this way.
It takes 30 minutes just to leave Houston, and then you drive to
I know.
Austin, right?
Yeah,
That's
it's
like
like,
a
my
big deal.
parents stay way down there, like by the Texas City area. So every time I go see them, I got to go through all of it.
Takes you an hour to cross Houston if you're doing it from left to right, depending on time of day, traffic. Yeah. H-Town, Best Ball Q. I think can we talk about this? Are you in Houston as well? I know we got a few guys who are from Houston or from Texas or living in Texas now in the chat that every once in a while we talk about it. If Hunter, and we'll give a quick one on this for Paul. If Hunter was like pure wide receiver, in my mind, he probably re-justifies going around pick 40. I just don't know if he can get much higher than that. How about you, Hartman?
Oh, I answered in the chat right below.
Oh, of course. I'm always, it's me. Just always 8th round. What the hell does that mean, Hartman?
No, probably what you said, early 4th.
Okay. We're back on the clock. We could do London or Achan. How you guys feeling about this pick, Hartman?
Either one of them.
London bring back.
It's got to be right.
Makes
I mean,
more
how many
sense.
times are you going to get the Puka in London? It's not super rare, but it is really nice.
Yeah. You know,
If
I mean,
look at my
really
Pukas.
good
I don't.
combo.
I have it just a little bit. 21% of my Pukas, my Pukas are London, and then the opposite of my Londons only have 16% Puka. But also like Achan, obvious case that he should be going in the first round. So I wouldn't mind, going him there either.
Yeah,
I hope he
like
stays right
Achan
where
there,
he's at.
too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hopefully. Yeah, I just think with the stack, you don't always get it. Like you did have a decent amount, but I don't know, just getting the 2 most premium pieces of that game.
Hell yeah.
Pretty good.
And Bad Axe, Michigan. Yeah. I thought you were just, I don't know what I was thinking. I thought you were saying badass Michigan. Like, oh, Michigan's so badass, but Bad Axe is an actual place.
Oh yeah. Well, Bindle said where Hartman and JT from.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the town that I'm from.
Oh, nice. I'm just not super familiar with Michigan,
people.
but what was that?
It's like 2,000 people. It's tiny.
Is it like UP or is it regular Michigan?
It's in like the lower, like regular.
Okay.
So it's like it's shaped like a mitten.
Of course.
It's in the thumb.
So it's
like
kind of pretty far north.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I don't know if we talked about it. I was in Wisconsin a week and a half ago, but I flew into Chicago and then we drove to Milwaukee and then we were in Oconomowoc, which is like 30 minutes outside west of Milwaukee. So that's like my first time in Wisconsin. I've been to Michigan before, but I haven't really spent that much time out there. It was like a day trip one time I did a while back, but nice in the summer. So I bet it's nice right now too, huh?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Nice. Wow. Kittle goes pick 31 to Michael in the chat. We're going to be up on the clock next. We've got Puka and London. We're going to have a choice here. We go with like a Josh Allen and then get one of these late QBs. Do you want to go to JSN or a Kyron or a Brees? How you feeling, Hartman?
Josh or Brees, maybe?
JT.
I would go Brees and maybe try to get Lamar next. I don't know. I like Lamar better than Allen. So normally in that situation, I go with the player and then try to get Lamar in the next.
I like that. Let's change it up. We took a Josh Allen team earlier. Let's just see if we can get one of them. You know, they both might be gone. At that point,
Oh,
you could even
there it
make
goes.
the argument for Jaden Daniels, and it's
Yeah,
not that
yeah,
different.
yeah.
If we wanted to go with the elite QB. But of course, like Brees should be a pretty good pick there. We just hope they use him as much as he can potentially be used, that they're not going to like try to split too much work off of him.
I'm just happy it wasn't JSN or Kyron.
Yeah, I
That's
already
I was
know what
trying
you're
to
thinking.
avoid.
And then JT,
Yeah, I'm pretty out
you're-
on JSN.
JT, you're originally from Houston area, and then now you're living out
Yeah,
in
I grew
Austin,
up
right?
on the east side of Houston, and then early in my young childhood, and then we kind of moved down more like the Texas City area down there.
Yep. Ooh, Hertz goes. I guess the AJ Brown team at the 12. You would have seen that coming because he reached up for AJ Brown, grabs Hertz at 37.
Interesting.
So
Definitely different.
do we want to go? I've got my ranks in there, but it'd be like Evans, T Mac, Daniels, Hartman.
I'd go Evans or Tet.
JT?
I was just about to say I would lean into one of the two receivers, and then we have all kind of quarterbacks late we can play with.
I went ahead and clicked Evans. To me, it was pretty much a toss up there, but I've got a lot of Tet. I could use some more. How much Evans did I have? About 11%. So just, you know, get some more of all of them. I really like this these matchups, these week 17 games. Like Evans at Miami could be pretty nice, and then of course this matchup in Atlanta is like my favorite. Monday Night Football week 17. You know, if this is a $100,000 potential team, this sets the bar where if we're sweating this one and it's close, we've got Drake London and Puka Nacua playing on Monday Night Football. I'm going to hop on a plane. I'm flying to Atlanta. I'm buying tickets to the game. I'm going to sweat it out in real life. I'm going to invite both of y'all with me since we drafted this team together. And, I mean, it could easily pay off. I mean, $100,000, I don't think it costs that much to go to a Falcons game in week 17, but
that would be super fun if we were in
the
finals.
Atlanta's easy to get to for me. I know Hartman, it might take a layover, but
yeah, that'd be
a couple-hour flight from here.
Yeah, we can get there quick.
Yeah, I do like that start. I mean, that receiver room feels great. And
Right.
you kind of Brees is like your anchor.
Yeah.
The start feels good.
I would agree. I like this. I've done some versions of this. I drafted a ton out of the back, 4 picks. So I've done some versions of a first round and second round receiver it's usually with Brees and then another receiver. So I mean, I feel like that combination, it doesn't have to be Brees, but it usually is. Sometimes you get really lucky. It could be Chase Brown, or the alternate version is you just take the third receiver and then you grab Hampton and kind of pull him up to 40. So like, I think this kind of formula in the back half of the draft, if you're not going to take the elite QB, is my preferred way to go. A lot of the time.
I totally agree with that. I play it pretty much the same way.
Yeah.
Best Ball Q says he's in the Cypress area.
Cypress.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah, that's where I'm originally from. I'm originally from the Spring Cypress area. That's like northwest Houston. And then, yeah, Best Ball Q. I don't know if that's a reference to barbecue, but Cypress, some of the best barbecue in the country, you could argue, and some of the best in Texas. But there's a lot of good barbecue in Texas, a lot of good barbecue in the country. But Cypress, there's probably a barbecue restaurant on every single corner if you're driving down the right part of town. What else we got? Michigander. Yeah. Bindles is a Michigander too. He's more of a city slicker though.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know about that. I'm a city slicker now though.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back on the clock. 57. Waddle's there. It seems like the obvious choice, right?
Yeah, especially with Evans.
Is there any other considerations for these running backs or later receivers, or we try to get one of them on the turn?
I mean, I like both the running backs too, but since there's 2 of them there and Waddle's to bring back to the Tampa, makes more sense. We can maybe get one of those 2 running backs to come back to us.
It feels really sick, like in a good way, like really nice, having two different Week 17 game stacked receiver groups like in your first 5 picks. I have not done that so often. That feels pretty unique. And not that it's like insanely hard to get, but it feels real nice if you get there. Got a lot to
Well,
look
yeah,
forward.
yeah, and I think it's 2 games we feel really good about, like teams with really good playoff schedules too.
All right, so we're flying to Miami for the Sunday game, and then we'll go to Atlanta for the Monday night game. It's gonna be a long weekend. Odunze's there, Harvey's there, Addison, Connor. I personally kind of lean into like the running backs in this range, and then maybe Addison. Addison goes. JT, how do you like to play it here?
I would say maybe Connor for some early season work. I also wouldn't hate pulling Judkins up just because I like him better than those
Hartman?
other running backs myself.
Connor, I think Connor's good.
I'm good with Connor. I like to mix in Harvey too. I'm not so
Yeah.
far behind on Harvey that I'd be feel like I'm not sweating that I would miss out on him there and like reaching up for Connor. I don't know what I'm querying here. It's like Connor, yeah, I got like 13%. So I've been big in on him the entire offseason. And Judkins, I doubt he comes back around, but like I get the case there too that he could just be the best pick in the 6th round, and we'd want to have him from anywhere, right? So,
yeah, and part of why I sometimes will do it in a situation like that is just the unique factor. He does often go over there on that left side of the board, so especially having a already kind of sick team, and just kind of make a sick team even more unique. But I like Connor too. That's what it said first. I'll tell y'all a funny food story real quick. Y'all know I was just in Chicago, and we have so much good Mexican food down here in Texas.
right.
But I kid you not. Now, the guy is from Mexico, but the best food I had by far in Chicago, this place probably honestly topped any Mexican food I've even had in Texas my whole
Really?
life. It was literally like just right around the corner from where we were staying. We just needed dinner one night and didn't have time to drive kind of far. So we were like, there's this Mexican restaurant that's only been open 4 months, only had like 3 reviews, but they were all awesome or whatever. So we were like, whatever, let's go check it out. But no, man, the food, dude, was the best Mexican food I've ever personally eaten in my life. I had a taco plate, right, that came with like some tacos and some other stuff. Talking about on the spot made shells. Like it was like a freshly fried up tortilla that he fried up
nice.
right there into the shell. Just everything. Like we all thought it was and I just thought it was kind of funny, being from Texas and there's so much great Tex-Mex, and this was more of like the authentic Mexican versus the Tex-Mex. But dude, it was just crazy. It was the best food I had in Chicago by far, and it was a Mexican restaurant.
That's great. Yeah, I'm big fan of Tex-Mex. Probably my favorite favorite type of meal to go out and get. Here in Houston, Tex-Mex. You got the ninfas. You got it all. Escalantes. What do you want to go to? There's just so many options. There's so many good options. You really can't go wrong. El Tiempo, of course, another good one. I even like Chewy's. I like Chewy's, mix it up, go on the cheaper side, but just have some fun. We get Chewy's at my house pretty often. Like even my daughter, she knows. She's like, "Are we getting Chewy's tonight?" Like she'll say that.
Hey, if I know you got a few kids now, you're trying to catch up with me. I'm gonna tell you, when you need a quick meal to go, even Chewy's has this family fajita kit. It's like $75 or something like that. But we got 5 people, and we always have a little bit of leftovers.
Nice. That's all. Yeah, love Chewy's. But then the authentic Mexican food as well versus the Tex-Mex. But yeah, Chicago. It's a fun place to visit. We're back on the clock. Reed is there. Could be a nice pick. Otherwise, where else do you guys looking? JT?
Reed or Pollard for me, or we could do Mooney and really lean into it.
Hartman?
I'd go Reed or Pollard.
I think it's hard to pass up on Reed just because mean, you guys know it. He has the potential to be the wide receiver 1 on his team kind of thing. Hopefully we can get Mooney to come back around. We don't have to make it happen with London, but it would be nice. It would be fun. We'll see. To be determined. There he goes. Yep. The days of Mooney falling to pick 90 are almost long gone.
Pretty much.
Yeah, he never really falls anymore.
Mm-hmm. And then Pacheco's been, he's already up to pick 80 kind of range. I don't have a ton of Pacheco, but I don't want to be out either. I think there's some justification for him going there, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, if he looks like the lead back, he could score double-digit touchdowns.
Sure.
And, like, I think with clicking a guy like Pacheco now, too, you're probably banking some CLV. Because you look at, like, last year, he rose a ton.
I mean, it's got to be Pollard here, right? Take the discount.
Yeah.
No doubt. And then we'll come back around for quarterbacks. We've got we'd have to go Baker Mayfield there if we wanted him, but I like to push Baker Mayfield every time, and so I don't have a ton of them. But when I do get him, I'm getting him around pick 100 or so. We've got just every QB option remaining with our receivers. So
we don't need to rush
for later.
anything.
Yeah.
It's another sick team, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Sometimes,
especially getting Pollard back there, that feels really nice for RB3.
No doubt. I have Pollard in the same tier as I have Swift, Montgomery, Pacheco, Pollard, and Jones. I think of all of these guys in a very similar spot. Even kind of, I put Caleb Johnson in that too because he's more of a split backfield kind of guy, and then I put Judkins more with the Harvey, James Conner, Travion group.
So, I just wonder if Pacheco gets good reports this summer, where do you guys think he steams up to?
Well, last year he was going in the 4th round, right?
Yeah, but he just kind of like steadily moved up like
Right.
all summer, and then yeah, by the end he was going like 3-4 turn even.
I don't see why he couldn't be going. I don't know. Do you think he can jump the rookies? Because he'd have to go. He could pass Caleb Johnson. Could he pass Quinshawn? Could he pass RJ Harvey? That's where I would start to question.
Yeah, I kind of think.
I don't know. And then it's hard though, because you already know the reports are going to be pretty good. But it's just like, I just wonder with his running style, if he loses any kind of step, if he's closer to what we saw when he came back at the end of last year versus pre-injury, I don't know. I have a hard time clicking Pacheco. I want to be in on him and want to say he's going to be the old Pacheco, but I have a real hard time doing it right now. I guess with really good camp reports, that might be when I go ahead and try to get some.
It doesn't seem like. Well, probably why I was slow to click Pacheco as the offseason started. A little bit of recency bias. The injured season wasn't incredible for him, coming back from the injury and everything. And then the Super Bowl performance was completely lackluster, and that kind of sticks in your mind a little bit. But when you look back to like his last real full healthy season, and he's more of the lead back dominating the touches, he can definitely produce pretty well.
And I think he came back from that injury so quick too. Like,
yeah. Sorry, back on the clock here. I don't think there's a QB we want to grab right now.
No. Maybe running back or Andrews.
Thoughts?
Either of those is fine. Scadaboo is fine.
Yeah, I
would
hit
probably
Harris.
go Andrews. We're
thought about it.
We're good at receiver right now. What is that? 6, deep.
Yeah, we got 6 good ones, and we have all of these QBs to stack with. I guess I lean
honestly
Harris there just because we get one more QB option, so we really open the door up. And then I think Harris is also kind of a fun should be a deep threat, so it could be a spike week guy that could hit.
Yeah.
Plus,
Yeah, I think he's a fine pick there. Just maybe like structurally, like the RB or tight end, but I think he's a good pick there. We could even maybe stop at 6 receivers now.
I think
I
so.
was just about to say with
Yeah.
those 6 for sure. Like the only bye weeks we even really got to worry about are Waddle and Harris, and they're not even, they're not even our top guys. So,
Any other suggestions here?
go ahead. You could click your boy.
No. Yeah.
I like him. I don't think I like him as much as you, but I like him.
Yeah, I like Scadaboo quite a bit. I'm decently like overweight on him. And I think getting him at a little bit of a value, feels good.
JT, what do you think your exposure on him is right now?
Without looking, probably 10, 12, somewhere right in there.
Yeah, that's a good amount. I mean, that's like decently overweight compared to the field. So
I take him and Tracy though. We don't know, right? And I could see a world where like each of them have their games. I don't take them together. That's not what I'm saying. But like, some teams I take Scat, some teams I take Tracy.
So my follow-up on that is, did you benefit from drafting Tracy last season, or were you in on him last year in any way?
I was in on him, especially playing on DraftKings, just because, his big thing was he used to be the receiver and all that.
Right.
So yeah, I don't remember how much I had of him, to be honest. He wasn't like a flag plant my guy or anything, but I was definitely in on him. It was him over Singletary for sure.
Yeah. I'm starting to put together a little bit of like a theory that people who benefited from or drafted a bunch of Tyrone Tracy last season are still really in on him, and those are the ones who are less. Not that you're out on Scatabo, but like I am finding those people who like Tracy, logically, right? Like they like Tracy, so they're sticking with him. One thing Andrew was saying last night was he said he had drafted Tracy in every one of his dynasty leagues, and so then this year he like doesn't really draft Scattaboo, but he's got a bunch of Tracy, and so it's starting to click for me that like, oh, okay, I can see why people are more hesitant on Scattaboo. It's because they're like Tracy truthers, and I'm not saying you are, but like that's the only reason I can justify like why not everyone's obsessed with Scattaboo.
I just looked, and I'm actually higher on Scat. I have 15% Scat and 10%.
Yeah, you're definitely in. You're definitely in.
Well, and for me, Tracy was my highest owned player by far last year. Like 28.9%. Yeah, that was my highest owned by.
I don't remember that. If I knew that, yeah.
But this year, like I only have like 3.5% Tracy and like 13% Scattaboo. So
all right, my theory is dead. It took about 10 seconds of explaining it for Hartman to kill it with a dagger.
Yeah, I just think Scattaboo is a better prospect. I think Tracy could have an okay year, but I think Scattaboo is just a like higher tier prospect than him.
The Texas game did it for me. Like that guy, I mean, throwing up on the sidelines, throwing passes, catching passes.
100%.
Almost single-handedly beat one of the best teams in the country.
We're about to be back on the clock here. Pick 129, and then we get pick 136. I was thinking at 136 we would take Penix. Do you guys want to go in a certain direction with 129? It could either be Herbert. It could be it's Herbert there, or do you want to go somewhere else with a tight end maybe?
I'm fine with Herbert.
Let's get Herbert, because I think if we took another position here, we're probably not going to love our QB 2 and 3.
Okay, that's smart.
So I guess like you said.
Love is gone and Baker's gone. So then we have options with Tua. We did take Herbert, Stafford, Penix, and then I don't think we would try to get there off the running backs, but the running back room looks great. The wide receiver room, of course, incredible, and not a single, just the week 12 bye overlap with Waddle and Harris, but that's we're going to have Puka, London, Evans, and Reed available. So I think this is one where we do really consider stopping with 6, like you guys were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Penix goes.
Oh, yeah.
Hate to see it to the Mooney drafter, so it ruined it for us. But
Makes me feel better about taking Herbert.
yeah, it happens. I mean, I half expected that to happen. Do we
Can
pivot?
Can we see what the Tyreek Hill guy, what his QB situation is? Or if not, that's fine.
Probably
I see
don't
if we can
have
find
the
him real
time.
quick. The Tyreek Hill drafter's over here, and he's got 3. I'm gonna go Tucker Kraft.
Sure, push to I'm good with Kraft.
So we needed a tight end, and then we've got the team correlation with Reed. Obviously, Love's already gone, but I think we could potentially, in some universe, have the top 2 targets next season on the Packers for Love.
In a perfect world, we can get Tua to come back to us, and then old man Stafford will be there too on the flip side.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. I think Penix has one of the highest ranges of draft picks where he goes. I've seen him go pick 120. I've seen him go pick 134. I've seen him stacked with London, with Mooney, with Bijan. I've seen him go pick 166. Like, I've seen him go all over the place. It sucks that we couldn't get him there with London, but you know, it happens, I guess.
Bindles is mad at you.
Oh yeah.
What did I do?
Drafted Reed without him.
Yeah, I think Penix, like, I think he's not falling quite as much lately, but yeah, he does have a pretty good range. I think it's because of the London drafter doesn't want him, and sometimes people don't want him because he's a pocket passer.
Yeah, the offense. I mean, they're deep. The Giants' defense. So this is Paul's question. The Giants' defense should be getting better pretty quick. You know, they also have Dart coming on at some point. Russell Wilson should be serviceable. So their offense might not be terrible. The team is definitely getting better with the draft capital they spent, and then the split work aspect. I think Scottaboo is a guy that can consolidate touches. So then, yeah, if one consolidate, it's great, but definitely.
And I think the reason I end up probably going him over Tracy most of the time, if they're both there, is because, like, in the worst case scenario, if it is more of just an even backfield, he's going to be the goal line back. You know, he's going to be the guy in there. They're trying to pound it in there with to score the touchdown. So
I think it's a good point too.
Think
I've been hearing people say, like, you know, as Paul saying that Gretchen made a point about Scottaboo being the value touches. That's something that Greg was saying from Coach Speak Index. He thinks there's a lot of indication that Scottaboo will be getting those high value touches. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, Paul. And then I've kind of been thinking that too. I forget who said it, but I heard in the last 24 hours, somebody was saying that Scottaboo's, you know, pass catching profile is actually a lot better than Tracy's. Given that Tracy was like that converted wide receiver, he just gets too much benefit of the doubt that he's actually like a really good pass catcher. But in reality, he's fine. It's really Scottaboo who could be, you know, even better than average in that way.
Where's the Adams drafter at?
And that's a great question.
I think on the outside at 4.
Is he outside of us?
Yeah, he's on our left.
Yeah. So he's good. So good.
So let's grab Tua first, right?
Tua first. Yeah. No one shouldn't want Stafford unstacked.
Hopefully not.
In a few picks. It'd be a little ahead of ADP unstacked too.
There is the Kyron drafter in the 12 spot with Hurts, Mahomes, Caleb Williams. I think we're solid.
Yeah, that'll be an okay quarterback room considering how strong the rest of the team is. And just to close off the Scatterboo comments, you know, like, I don't see a world where Tracy just takes over the backfield, but there is a world where, like, Scat's going to get the goal line work for sure. And so then on top of that, there is a scenario where he just becomes the dude and Tracy is just kind of, you know, the backup. So I think that's why I probably have a lot more him than Tracy.
Yeah. I would agree. I like that. Plus, like you said, he's really fun to watch. The dude has juke moves. He can stiff arm. He's really hard to tackle. He's a great pass catcher over the shoulder, downfield or in the flat. And then he can throw the ball too. I remember watching one of my suggested videos that I watched over the weekend was a 30-minute clip of all of Scadaboo's college highlights, even from Sacramento State.
Oh,
Bless
wow.
you. And there was a game at Sacramento State where Scadaboo threw a touchdown pass, and then he does it again against Texas when he was at Arizona State. So like he's got this bag of athletic ability, all these traits. He's a pretty unique player. And then, JT, you and I both watched that Longhorn game against Arizona State. Like, what a crazy game. But if anyone wasn't familiar with Scadaboo and they watched that game, they'd come out a huge fan of his. And I'm still convinced that some people who aren't drafting him, who are like 0% Scadaboo, they just maybe never watched him play college football, or they haven't considered the context of his stats, because like his statistical profile in college was also extremely impressive. But there's always people who discount college stats depending on the situation, the conference, those kind of things.
Well, and Steve will remember it because I actually closed my stream last night talking about like what I look for in running backs. And he has that ability to like at the last second, whether it's different moves, but whether it's like just a subtle little shimmy shake or just a subtle little off step to where like not only is he big and strong, but then instead of that head-on collision, the defender now is right here on his shoulder and he can kind of run through him. He's got the great balance, like you see all kind of clips. So he almost gets knocked over, but he puts his hand on the ground, keeps his balance. And if the receiver aspect, he runs receiver routes, I mean, it's not just that he can catch passes. Is he doesn't catch just dump offs. He had that one play against us, the Longhorns, where it was almost like a true receiver out and back route, I need more than 15%. That's what I just convinced myself. I need to get on like Steve's level.
Let's see what I'm at now. Mine's come down a little bit because I was drafting him so much, but then he fell a little bit, and I'm just gonna wait to see where he settles. I'm just about 19%. So he's one of my higher players, not one of my highest, but I like him a good amount. I think he fits on a bunch of teams too. A wide receiver, I've taken him as a wide receiver 2. I've taken him as a wide receiver 4. Everywhere in between. So, all right, for this next one, we could go back with like a Hunter Henry, Gesicki. We could be looking at another running back. I have Jarquez ranked pretty highly. Also goes with Stafford. Maybe we can push him. Is this like a tight end range we want to go for?
I mean, the teams on the turn have a lot of tight ends. We could probably go with the running back or receiver.
I'd be okay with either Hunter or Shipley. I like Shipley a lot too.
I haven't been able to get there on Shipley yet. Hartman, was it you that I was talking to about Shipley and like trying to figure out like what's going on there? Or did we talk about that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm a lot higher on Jarquez Hunter over Shipley, but I think we did talk about Shipley, and I think he's just a good contingent bet, but it's just that he's fully contingent. He's getting no playing time unless Saquon's hurt. Where Jarquez maybe will get playing time, even without injury.
I mean, Shipley being on the Eagles, one of the best, run blocking teams, great offense on the ground. I think that's his big appeal. I had 20% Shipley last year, and I felt like I was an idiot for doing that.
Well, my thing is go ahead. We're on the clock.
I'm leaning Hunter. What do you guys think?
I like Hunter over Gesicki.
Okay, yeah.
Either one can be fine. There's the week 16 with Gesicki that he's playing Miami. But
yeah, I think like those two and Ertz are all pretty close.
Yeah. Henry got a nice ADP value as well, so that kind of factored in for me. And we do have Brees, so just one more game to have a piece
My
of with a
thing,
bring back.
going back to Shipley real quick is like
Uh-huh.
there, Barkley, yes, he had the amazing season that he had last year, but prior to last year, like Barkley kind of has a little bit of injury history there. He has a lot of seasons where he does get hurt and he does get banged up. And then you couple that with the fact that there's a long list. I forget where I seen it or who made the video or the tweet about it, but there is a really long list of NFL running backs who had just the sheer amount of touches and volume that he had last year. And you would just be surprised the next year they're all not that. They're all like way, way, way below, whether it's because of injury or it just took a toll on their body touching the ball so many times like that. So I'm not sitting here predicting Barkley's going to get hurt for the whole year or anything, but I see scenarios where maybe they do let Shipley get more involved to take it a little easier on Barkley, especially in games that they're winning, or maybe Barkley gets hurt for 3 or 4 weeks with an ankle or something. And, kind of like the Giddens bet now for those 3 or 4 weeks, you got a late round running back that could come in and just smash.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fading Barkley a good amount, so I'm taking some Shipley because if you're gonna fade the main guy, then you should probably take some of the backup.
I guess I should be taking more Shipley just by that fact, or maybe I need to get a little bit more Barkley. But
well, because there'll be a good
too.
rushing offense.
Right, I guess I'm playing it through Hurts and then just the receivers, which is probably a little bit lopsided in my exposures.
Well, I mean, maybe if Barkley gets hurt or slows down, though, they could be more pass heavy. Also, they lost a lot of defensive pieces. So if they're in a little bit more competitive game scripts, I wonder if they'll be a little bit more pass heavy. They kind of dominated, especially down the stretch last year.
We're going to have options to get a tight end with any of these last QBs. Where should we go with this pick? Do we get another receiver, a running back?
I'm fine with either.
JT?
Either one of those. I mean, we could maybe take the running back. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could almost, either one was good.
I grabbed Keenan Allen because it seems like the team to do it where like we don't even need him, but when he signs somewhere, he could be just fine. And now we're like probably really strong at receiver more than we would ever need, but there's some depth there. This last pick, and I feel like our running backs are just fine too. Like I'm not feeling the pressure to get one more running back.
With Scat as our fourth, there's no major bye week issues or anything.
Yeah.
So then with the last pick, let me see.
So we have access to. And did he just go? Did Waller just go? Yeah, Waller went.
I think Terrence Ferguson probably.
I was about to say I'd go Ferguson because especially with Stafford, for him to be useful to our lineup, there's going to be more than just Puka he's carrying along. I know Adams is there, but maybe we could get 2 or 3 games where late in the year Ferguson gets in there and does something.
No doubt.
And we have that game with Drake London bring back too. So I mean, we have that game built out really well. Dome game, high total.
100%. We were super invested in it. I think the Herbert with Trey Harris piece comes along, more of a season-long bet that Herbert outperforms. But as far as our Week 17 bets go, we've really built out the Tampa Bay at Miami game with Tua, Waddle, and Evans for the bring back. And then we went ahead and got a bunch of pieces of these Rams and Falcons. Even though we didn't get Penix, we got Ferguson, London, and Puka. So most of our draft capitals in Puka and London. And then we topped it off with the Jarquez Hunter and Ferguson piece for the Stafford team stack, which does feel nice. Brees Hall, James Conner, Tony Pollard, Scattaboo. And then, Jaden Reed, good on any team. Keenan Allen could be a huge closing line value guy and just a nice pick. Could hit some spike weeks that actually outperforms a guy like a Mike Evans or a Jalen Waddle in a given week. Notice how I didn't say London or Puka because that's just like asking for too much. And then Tucker Kraft, Henry, I think reliable, strong picks. Ferguson, upside pick. This is a fun team. Obviously, would have liked Penix probably over Stafford or Tua, but I think this one gets it done.
Yeah, Penix
it's not quite as good as that.
Nice, but...
Quite as good as the Dallas double we drafted, in my opinion, but I definitely like it a lot. That one was just really nice where you you took Warren when we wanted Fields, but then we got Fields to come back around, and then we got Dak to come back around. That one worked out really nice.
Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes it's skill. I'll let you decide what that was.
Skill, of course. You knew it was coming.
Of course.
Yeah, it's hard to ever beat a Dallas double stack to me. That's like my go-to build.
I know. I think I've built a ton of them. If we just look at my Dallas exposures, it feels like every time I draft, like I have 17, 19, 14%. Blue's coming up. He's at 9% now. It's moving up. If you include Dallas Goedert, I've got 14% of him too. So, just all Dallas pieces, including the guy with the name Dallas. Ferguson's at 9%, and then it falls off from there. But I feel like every time I do get the Dallas pieces, I'm considering how many other ones can I add on to it and then play that. So the Dallas game, or I should say the Washington game, because it's in Washington. The Washington game, the Miami game, I really like, of course, the Atlanta game. And then for a while there, I was doing a good amount of the Minnesota game versus the Lions, at home Minnesota. That's another fun one too. As we're kind of wrapping this one up, I'm going to close that poll that I never remembered to look at and never remembered to close. But let me go ahead and close it now. If you haven't voted, go ahead and vote. If you haven't slapped the like on the stream yet, please make sure you hit the like as we wrap this one up. And then make sure you're subbed to Hartman Fantasy Football, to JT Best Ball. All the links in the description. Appreciate y'all watching, for drafting with us, being here. The results of the poll. 44 votes. That's a pretty good number. And I'm surprisingly a lot of votes for Keenan Allen, which was the bait, and then Scattaboo was the second bait. So you guys fell for that. Those are players you should be drafting, not fading. McCarthy, no one voted there, so good on you. You didn't fall for the third bait. But then, 45% tell me other in the chat, and we saw a bunch of your answers coming through. Appreciate y'all being here. Steve, of course, thanks for drafting this, brother. Nick, hope you're doing well. Great streams as always recently. Good to see you out there drafting teams, my friend. Passing game go Burr. Hey, draft some Eagles. And then Mike, what's up, brother? Yes, let's do it. We'll do a quick look at Mike's team. Very, very, very quick one. 3-5-8-2. Purdy, Love, Ward. I like the QBs, so that's a strong room. Purdy with McCaffrey, love it. Harvey for the upside, nice. And then you wait a bit, you get your Davis, your Giddens, your Neal. I think that's a fun way to do it. And then Neal's a guy that's going undrafted a good amount lately, so if he does end up becoming something, he's a little bit more of a low-owned guy that we were probably, I was too high on him during the big board for where he ended up going. The McConkey piece with T-Mac, Ridley, Golden. So your stacks there. Shaheed, Kyle Williams, Besh, Ayo Manor for the back stack. That's a fun way to play it. I sometimes coin flip between Ayo Manor and Chimere DK when I'm back stacking Cam Ward. I did take a DK share in a pit bowl I did late last night after the stream. Tight ends seem just strong enough, perfectly good. Kittle pretty early, so you're probably the most bullish person I've seen on Kittle. Hartman, you have Kittle ranked at 32.
Not quite. I think
Mm.
Kittle's a good pick though, even in the fourth. I think he'll keep moving up in the fourth.
Yeah, we're big on Kittle.
But the
Kittle's a
answer to the
smash for me.
Titans-
Big on Kittle.
The answer to the Titans is Xavier Restrepo. That's Cam Ward's guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I haven't drafted Restrepo yet, but he's the other. If you could flip a coin with 3 sides, you'd want to get him in there as well. Brock Purdy with McCaffrey and Kittle. That's my favorite way to play Purdy for sure. So I like this team. It's a lot of fun pieces, a lot of rookie upside.
You sure it's the Rizzipo guy because he played with him? I mean, didn't we just do that last year with Franklin and Knicks?
Yep. We're doing it again.
No, I think it's more like Tank Dell and Stroud.
Yeah.
Tank Dell and Stroud. That one worked.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know.
I'm gross. I still take Tyler Lockett.
Yeah.
I'm like, everybody else is drafting the rookies. Just give me the guy that knows how to still somewhat run routes, hopefully, and catch passes.
I think there's like a time and place for Lockett. So I'm not zero Lockett, but you got to have the right build to be, just in my mind, where it's like, oh, I could take a veteran who I might not need at the end of the season and is more of a floor kind of play, I think. But I've liked Lockett in past years. I just don't know how much he's got left.
I just don't really love either of the rookies, and I might start drafting one of them, once we get into camp, if one of those two are clearly, stepping up above the others. But it's like, I don't really want to guess right now.
That makes sense. All right, we're closing this one out. Hartman, any follow-ups? Are you doing any stream drafts over the next couple of days, this weekend? Anything coming up?
I'm gonna do one tomorrow during the day. I don't have work tomorrow, so
nice.
Yeah, long weekend, so that'll be pretty nice.
Hell yeah, brother. I'll be tuning in. I'm gonna be driving out to Austin, like I said, taking a few days off from streaming to do 4th with the family. So I'm gonna go touch some grass and catch some waves out on the lake and some sun and all that good stuff. And then I think I'm gonna work on a video or doing some like recap of the best ball summer to this point. So I might be putting some content out, but I'm not gonna be going live until later this weekend. So I'm gonna take Thursday and probably Friday as well off, and then maybe I'll see you guys in the chats. If Hartman goes live and I'm done driving, and we'll see where I'm at and what's going on. Might jump in some drafts, so you guys might see me around drafting, just not live. JT, how about you? What you got going on this week?
The usual. We'll be on tomorrow night at 10. And I told y'all, if you want a good EV draft, Friday night on my channel, I told y'all at the beginning, I'm bringing my buddy in. He's your most casual fantasy football guy, watches a lot of NFL, just plays in 2 season-long, leagues. Doesn't even really probably understand what best ball is, but I talked him into coming on my channel for a fun little show. We'll spend about 20 minutes, me kind of, talking to him, maybe give him a little bit of the rundown of how best ball works. But then at least for the first draft, I'm just going to let him take the reins and go get his guys and see how it turns out. What could go wrong, right? But it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
Sounds good, man. Sounds like a fun time. And then, more to come this best ball summer. We're going to keep it in the streets. We're going to be drafting best ball, talking ball. And it's just the beginning of July. We've got a long way to go. A lot of teams left to be drafted. We'll see what underdog drops tomorrow or on 4th of July. But I've gotten some hints. I think the whispers people are talking. They're going to be dropping something soon. These other tournaments are closing soon. I still have to do my corgi. I think I'll do that at some point as well. And we'll catch y'all in another one soon. For Hartman, for JT, and myself, peace out, fellas. Have a great night. See ya.